Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token liberal, and together we review what's in the news. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to not only get along, but to be able to have a civil conversation when we disagree. Because don't forget, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, bro?
What's up, brother? You got that? Nailed that one.
Unlike, woo! Yeah. Yesterday was not my best showing. Yeah. Misfit 2 days in a row in the comment section before the show starts. I fucking love it.
Right out of the gates.
And welcome.
Right out of the gates.
And bro, welcome to the Discord server, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Happy to see that you got a subscription yesterday on the YouTube channel, and pal, you'll be able to shoot the shit and talk about political stuff with other people than your family.
Yeah.
Your political family. So awesome to have you on, brother. Great to have you on. Looking forward to your contribution. Man, we're on fire. Cheryl.
Yeah.
What's going on? Nick, what's going on? Guys? Nicole. I was helping Nicole this morning getting access to the Discord server because she does have a subscription on YouTube. It wasn't working. I figured out what the problem is. So this morning we'll give it a few minutes so that more people join, and I will explain how to make it happen. What's going on, wise guy? What's crack-a-lackin', homie? Damn,
guys, what's going on? Yeah, so we figured out, we kind of, well, again, Nico spent some time last night getting the Discords figured out. So I think you've got
I'm the nerd.
Yeah, you're the nerd. I'm the eye candy. Nico's the IT guy.
Oh, man, we're in shit.
Yeah.
If you're the eye candy, we're really fucked.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
Hey,
yeah. Misfit says, now I've paid my entrance fee, I'm going to troll the fuck out of the trolls. Yeah. The thing is I love to see that. The few trolls that have showed up, it seems like even before we kind of jumped in to tell these guys to chill the fuck out, it looks like the community really jumped in and sorted that out. So it's that self-policing itself thing.
Lol, eye candy, come cum on now.
Hey, Misfits. Hey,
he's a witty motherfucker.
Yeah,
this. I really like this guy.
Hey, Mark, how's it going, brother? Carney is about to get dog walked by Trump live. Yeah, that's true. What time is that? Because we should jump to that live if it's.
Let me check. I'm gonna see right now because for sure, I know it's happening at one point today. They kept on talking about it. I haven't seen the actual.
It's too bad.
I don't know that Carney has the balls to do it live. I hope he does, because Trump. We all know Trump don't give a fuck. He'll start a live stream while taking.
Taking a dump. Yeah, fucking just pinching a loaf.
And you know his cell phone is not on a tripod. Somebody's holding it as he's taking a dump.
Oh yeah,
right?
Tony G, how's it going, brother? Looks like we're getting the band back together today. It looks like we got everybody piling in.
Yeah, Nick was telling me this morning that she had to take a break over the weekend, and I get it. I fully understand. I never take a break, but I'm a fucking madman. But I understand why. I try to do it once a week. Like you'll see that I'm not posting. You can check my social media. There's once a week. I try not to go on social media whatsoever.
It's hard to do, eh? It's really hard to do.
No, at all.
Yeah,
you don't get enough hate, bro. Wait.
Wait
till every time you open your comment. I just posted a video. So the video we talked about where we're saying that did Pierre Pilievre lose because of vote splitting, or could it be something else? I just posted that on Instagram just before I jumped in.
They got the pitchforks and the torches out already.
Brother, they're gonna rip into that one because God. Pilievre is not to blame. He did nothing wrong. Right?
Of course not.
He's saying that it's gonna be showing. It's gonna be interesting.
Honestly, I'm like, I guess I understand why people like him and want to stick him around, but I don't understand no one is refusing. I don't see too many people just saying yeah, he fucked up, but I want to give him another chance. Which, okay, I get it,
and I'm good with that. I'm 100% good.
Yeah.
Sure. I
It's
make
just-
mistakes, and I make mistakes.
It's just the
Hopefully you
idea
give
that
me a
like he did
chance.
absolutely nothing wrong and
Yeah.
ran a perfect campaign, and I don't know. I don't see that. But we all
Yeah,
got our
neither do I.
we all got our biases, I guess.
Hey,
and
the people that are commenting, that are watching this live, can you tell me if you are seeing a live stream somewhere for the Trump / Mark Carney? Because if you do, let me know. Share it in the comments. I will go grab it. I will, because I want to do more of those lives. So if there's something interesting that you guys think we should talk about, or there's something breaking, we don't see it because obviously we're just two dumbasses running this show by ourselves. We can use your help, but if you see a live feed, I'd like to jump to it because, man, I want to see Trump rip into Carney live. And Carney's a low man too. Trump's like 6'2", 260. Mark Carney looks like he's 5'4", 130 pounds soaking wet. So I'd love to see them stand next to each other. I can't take some. Oh, the other day I saw a video of, have you seen the trend on, I think it was on TikTok, where men are showing their women what they look like from their perspective?
Okay.
So
I haven't seen it.
So I'm 6'1",
Oh,
right? And
yeah.
yes, I always get into.
That.
I always fuck around with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law's 4'11".
Okay.
So the other day I did it to her. I just grabbed my wife's cell phone and I'm like, it's very hard for me to take your threats seriously when this is what I see. She's like, oh my God, is that really? I'm like, well, yeah, this is what I see. This is what I see from Trump and Mark Carney. It must be hard for somebody his size to take a low man. It's like dealing with Zelensky. Zelensky too is a little snot, right?
Oh yeah.
Him making threat and you're just standing next to him. You're like, bro, really? So yeah, sorry.
So I'm looking. I've got the YouTube stream up. So when they actually right now, there's nothing going on. It just looks like they've got the camera at the Rose Garden. But once they
want to send it to me, because sometimes most of the time your laptop lags when you try to share a video. So just send me the link, and if you see that it's good, let's do it.
Let me.
So while you do that, I will take the time. I will take the time to do this. So, guys, we started a Discord server, which, if you're like Rob and you don't know what a Discord server is, imagine
handsome but retarded.
It's a good thing our TikTok live stream is not running, because I would have got banned once again.
Oh yes, of course.
But I created a Discord server over the weekend because I want to bring the conversation that we're having here, instead of having those awesome interactions as you're seeing it right now, just for 2.5 hours a day. I want this shit to continue 24 hours a day. So I created a very extensive Discord server with a bunch of stuff that you can do on there. And we want to port this conversation to the Discord server. The only thing is that you need a membership, because I want to keep the trolls away. I want to keep the conversation on. I want it to be smarter, right? Not necessarily not dumb, but I want to have good conversations that your conversations will contribute to this show. So if you're interested in joining our Discord server, or you already have a YouTube subscription and you're having issues, like Joe, for example, I know that Joe's having issues. Joe Stradamus, what's going on, bro? And I know that you're having issues because you created like 4 different accounts and tried to join. The only thing that you need to do in order to make it happen. Yes, I see him. Yep. Okay. So the only thing that you need to do is to link your YouTube profile, your YouTube channel, to your Discord account. If you don't know how to do this, I'm just going to make a really quick video right now so that I can post it on the Discord server afterwards. So you don't have to listen to me. You can just watch the video. But here's your Discord. At the bottom right here, do you see where your name is? Like, we all have our account, our name. You click on the little wheel here. All you have to do is to go to connections, and then you choose here to your YouTube account and you link it. Okay. Like, you can see, you can link. I linked my X, I linked my TikTok, but here you go. You just sling this, and as soon as it's linked, magically you're gonna get the rights to the server, because somebody with no subscription can go on the server. They can
It'll be
see
read only. They'll be able
Yeah,
to,
there, it's a bit more than read only. You're able to access everything. You can react to post, but you're not capable to post. But you can see what we're all about, what people are talking about. So if you have your YouTube subscription, you should be able to link, just make a connection between your Discord account and your YouTube, and pow, magically you'll have all the read and writes. And if it's causing you problem, just send me a message at Real Nico Lagan on Discord, and I'll repeat how to do it. But this video that I just said,
we're gonna post
I'll put it on there.
Discord.
Yeah. Makes it simpler.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I have to say about that right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just briefly add my 2 cents. As we were setting this up, you know, I think it made a lot of sense, because it, you know, right now, kind of the community that we're trying to create kind of only really exists as long as we're live. And obviously, if we have what with the Discord server, basically it's going to create that community will be up 24/7, and it kind of decouples the Political Orphans community from me and Nico personally. Obviously, we're always going to be, you know, at the center or at leaders, and we're always going to be around in this community, but it isn't ours, mine and Nico's. It's all of ours. And so we think it was important to decouple that from us personally. But we'll be in there, you know, shooting the shit, chatting, talking. So if you guys want us to cover topics, there's a chat for that. If you want us to, there's just a general to shoot the shit. And yeah, it's just basically to carry kind of the same vibe that we have in here over there, which is kind of cool for us too, because obviously when we're doing the show, we can't really, you know, I'm watching a lot of these conversations on the chat. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty fun. So it'll give us a chance to be like jump in on those conversations as well.
Since you're doing that, sorry to cut you off, I'm just going to show a couple of things since we're on the subject, might as well.
I did send you that link. And I believe,
I saw that.
Yep.
I just want to show a couple of things. So guys, right here, you can see those are all the categories. If you're not familiar with what a Discord server is, it's really, think about an IRC, old school chat platform. That's basically it. It's just a massive server that you can create with all different chats. But like all the new videos, like the ones we're creating right now, is going to be under the Poli Orphans. Like you see my mouse right here, right?
Let me just jump in. This is actually pretty important here. Rusty Wiener says IMO building a community on YouTube is a flawed plan due to censorship. That's exactly what the community is going to exist on the Discord server. The YouTube show will, if you want to think of it, that'll be like the recruitment tool for the community. That will be the content that we create, which drives people over there. So it is connected. If you get the membership here on YouTube, you will have access to the Discord server, and there is no censorship there.
But Rusty Wiener 1 is not on YouTube. Remember, he's on Rumble, and that's what he was saying yesterday. That is he able
to get that membership through Discord directly?
Well, yeah, I could set up a membership through Discord. Okay. So if this is something that you're interested in, Rusty, just text me on. Just continue commenting. At least comment on Rumble like you're doing right now. I see it on the side, so let me know if that's something that's interesting to you, because I'll find a way to manually put it in. No, I could. Discord allows for direct subscription off of it. I'm learning as I go, so I can look it up there. But if there's an interest, I'll definitely do it. But all I wanted to show is that right here on the side, those are all the conversations. And just to give you an example, general, you can have just regular conversations. Like you could see it's Robin is sharing a lot of videos. It's just what's going on. We have trending topics that you think we should address. This was the idea behind it. Yep. The Alberta updates, obviously, we're going to be talking about this every day. Probably every time there's an update, we'll talk about it. If you have any guests you would like us to have on the show, and conspiracy theories, as in what's not covered by the mainstream media. So that's the idea, right? Really roughly. And if you have, I created something this morning. If you have feedback or suggestion at the bottom, just let us know. But it's really, we're just there to create a community where we can have an interaction with each other, talk politics, talk culture. Because again, the Political Orphans is not just a political thing. And considering that culture derives from politics, or politics derived from culture, we can argue on that one. the point is that we want to continue the conversation on a place where we can do it 24 hours a day, where it's not censored. I'm the one taking care of it, so I guarantee you I'm not going to censor anybody. I want to hear your opinion. Just be polite. That's all the thing I ask is just be polite and don't fucking spam the server. That's it.
And that's obviously none of our
asking.
listeners. That's not for any of you guys. That's just for any new people
obviously
who
not.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
I'll take one here from Quebec sucks. Love it. Just because I think I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that name. So if it is your first day commenting, welcome. Hopefully you stick around.
I love that he has a Toronto Maple Leaf and he's talking to a Frenchie. That's going to be fun, bro.
He says bigoted equals commie equals Quebec runs the nation. This is a real problem. No party, no leader will touch it. Yeah. I think Quebec definitely, the rest of Canada, I think, bends over backwards for Quebec. And I think that's been the dynamic. I definitely think they overplayed their hand here. And we're going to get into Danielle Smith's speech from yesterday. We're basically going to play the whole thing and just go through it and analyze it as we go. But I think they killed their golden goose because one way or the other, it looks like the equalization payment is going to be drastically different going forward.
Yeah, and you know what? If you want to put it back so I can give my take on it.
Yeah, of course.
Just so you know, bro, Quebec suck. I totally agree with you. I'm from Montreal. I've traveled all over the place. I lived in Ontario. I lived in the US, or I split a lot of my time with the US right now. Got to tell you, I agree with you 100%. It's bullshit. It is bullshit that the province of Quebec is capable of manipulating Canada into doing whatever they want, because every single PM knows that if you want to get elected, you need to win. You need to win Quebec. If you don't win Quebec, you're not gonna fucking make it. So, at the end of the day, I totally agree. But at the same time, I totally agree that Alberta. I totally understand why Alberta wants to split, because it's bullshit that they need to be supporting Ontario. They need to be supporting Quebec. They need to be supporting BC.
I was shocked.
So I get it. I was
shocked when she added that, because I knew she was going to say something about C69. And some of the energy, the infrastructure projects, but the equalization thing came out of nowhere. But man, Alberta is not fucking around. They've had enough.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you can say whatever you want. She does not have a choice, because this is what's coming.
Did you
like
guys
it or not? Like it or not, it's coming. Like it or not, it's coming.
Did you guys?
You can do about it.
Did you guys see that speech that Danielle Smith got? If you didn't, it's fine, because we're going to play it. But what did you think? I thought it was pitch perfect. I thought she hit it exactly the right tone, exactly the right note. And you could tell she hit it right, because when I got off, she was getting criticized by both sides. The separatists were saying, "Oh, she's just she's not one of us," blah blah blah. And then on the other side, it was like, "Oh, she's a separatist. She's a separatist." I thought she walked a very fine line. But the overall vibe I got was, I think me and you disagree on this, but I think she thinks, or maybe hopes, that there is still time to pull back. But I think that window's rapidly closing. Now, there are other people who think it is too late already. And now, to be clear, I think a referendum's happening no matter what. I think that was clear.
Yeah, but it's not before it's not before next year, right?
2026, yeah.
You know what? Let's just jump to the live, because now they're talking. They're together. This was not the intent, but hey, we cover what's live, right?
Yep.
So give me a second. I'm just gonna.
Rusty Wiener says, "I liked her speech. She's got to thread the needle between two camps." Yeah, I completely agree. And
it's one of the best political speech I can remember hearing. This, I would say, it's the best. It's the best political speech I've ever heard, at least from in my memory. Yep. This is the best one I've seen. Was bang on. I had nothing to say about anything she said. In my opinion, she was fucking bang on everything.
Yeah.
So here's the live.
Oh yeah.
Here's the live. I rewinded the live a bit to when they started. So let's see what they're talking about, see if it's worth watching, and we'll take it from there.
But I see them singing as we speak. There we go.
Okay, we're going to listen in here a little bit.
Carney is a small guy, eh? That's what I said earlier. Look at that. Eek! Do you want to negotiate, Mr. Carney? Jesus.
It'll be. I'm actually pretty fascinated. I'm gonna be paying attention to a lot of the body language here.
Ministers on each side of the leaders there, as they wait for the cameras to come in.
And it's an honor to have you at the White House and the Oval Office. You see the new and improved Oval Office as it becomes more and more beautiful with love, handle it with great love, and 24 karat gold. That always helps too. But it's been a lot of fun going over some of the beautiful pictures that were stored in the vaults that were for many, many years, in some cases over 100 years. They were stored in vaults of the great presidents, or almost great presidents, all having a reason for being up, every one of them. So it's very interesting. But I just want to congratulate you, and you ran a really great race. I watched the debate, and I thought you were excellent. And I think we have a a lot of things in common. We have some tough points to go over, and that'll be fine.
It's pretty diplomatic here.
Russia.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't expect anything else. I don't think that, I don't think that Mark Carney is going to pull a Zelensky and start being a tough guy, right?
They don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight.
Rob is bang on. Looks like a business CEO and a banker.
Yeah,
pretty bang on, bro.
It's what it is, essentially.
And they have
A central bank.
capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore. And that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. So I think it's very.
This is actually, I'm going to start sharing in the conspiracy theory of the Discord, because somebody made a video with a massive graph showing that they have mutual investments through what's the name of his investment? Brookfield has invested in some of the stuff that Trump is in. So supposedly they've known each other for years. I've heard that. I'm going to start putting this shit on the conspiracy theory.
Nico, are you able to put subtitles on the CBC stream that you're sharing?
And if it's going to stop,
yeah, perfect. Yep, perfect. That way we can chime in if you want. It won't.
And we'll have maybe before.
And you know what? We'll lower the volume, because right now is nothing much. So
yeah.
They're just blah 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 blah.
If we see something interesting. Because I think some of these comments are, I think Wise Guy, who really got played here, if this is, if they are kind of buddy, is the liberal boomers, the liberal voters, right? Because the entire point was because they're so terrified of Trump. So, I kind of like to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, you take that.
No, this one's a good one. Dysfunctional parrot, East ISD.
Yep.
Is about to learn
who pays
the bill in Canada. Yes, I completely agree. Daddy's coming home and somebody's getting smacked.
Oh yeah. There's a spanking coming. And guys, if you are watching,
there you go.
Here we go.
Hold on.
You're a transformational president, focused on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker.
Fucking up to Trump.
Borders, providing ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world. And I've been elected with my colleagues here, with the help of my colleagues here. I'm going to spread the credit to transform Canada with a similar focus on the economy, securing our borders, again on fentanyl. Much greater focus on defense and security, securing the Arctic and developing the Arctic. And the history of Canada
Joe.
and the US
That's right. That's a great line, and I think it definitely fits here.
Hey, devil is due. If you do have Moose on the Loose's video about the conspiracy theory or the connection between them two, send it over. I want to see it.
We'll post that in the Discord.
Hold on. No, this is important. She just asked him if the alliance between Canada and the US, like the NAFTA, basically the new name for NAFTA, is dead. And he started by saying no. So
and securing the world. And I've been elected.
Served a very good purpose. And the biggest purpose it served is we got rid of NAFTA. NAFTA was a very unfair deal for the United States. Very, very terrible deal. It should have never been made. It was made many years ago, but it should have never been made.
Mr. President, what's the history of Canada and the United States? Would you like to see your first trade deal be with Canada, our neighbors in the world?
I would love that. Look, I have a lot of respect for this man, and I watched him come up essentially through the ranks when he wasn't given much of a chance, and he ran a really great campaign. He did a really great debate. I think that debate was very helpful. I'm just going to raise my hand. I don't know if that's good or bad. I shouldn't
Wow.
say that.
If you believe that they weren't friends,
They're buds, man. These are BFFs.
oh, this is.
So you might see something again in 10 seconds, but just to make it better for you to understand. we're gonna
Yeah,
do that now.
see, the feed was lagging as hell.
He ran
Yeah.
a really great election, I thought. And yeah, something could happen. Something could happen. Yeah, please.
Liberal boomers got played.
Oh,
Concession?
yes, they got played.
friendship.
And Home Equity Act is coming.
We're going to be
Oh,
friends
yeah.
with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada.
You know, we
My
talked about
parents
this
had
so many times that the
relatives that lived
tariff
in
was all
Canada, my mother
bullshit.
in
It was
particular.
manipulation.
And
There
yeah,
you have it.
I love Canada. I have a lot of.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
you know they did. You know they did.
I mean, how good the great one.
Boomers
and
just
have a
got
very,
played.
very good hockey
They might
player
as well be
here
golfing
on the
buddies.
Capitals, who I have a lot
I
of
see the
reviews
type of
big
live
tough
that this
cookie
is going to
famous
be.
folks.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you really want
And
to
he's a great
continue
guy,
this?
and-
Because to
Yeah,
me,
no, let's.
we had the.
Yeah, because I think the Danielle. We'll talk about this for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll jump onto the Danielle Smith thing because I think that's going to be. That's I think the.
but
more
this was
important news.
bullshit. This right there was fucking bullshit. They're buddy. The two of them are like fucking Carney. I'm gonna stand up to Trump.
Yeah, fucking
He's
guy.
almost sucking his dick.
elbows up.
Oh, you know why elbows up? Oh, it's easier
Yeah,
to
yeah,
suck his cock. Oh, that's what it meant. He's taking Trump and fucking JD Vance. That's why elbows up.
Just a shower, guys. If
Oh,
anyone
they
is,
got
if anyone is still watching that, if something comes up, just let us know in the chat. But yeah, I think we see what direction that's going. A whole lot of nothing.
This was the boomers out there got played. Just that 5-minute video right there. This was like two buddies, just like, we had so much fun looking at the 100-year-old pictures and showing Carney around. I've looked at him go up through the ranks like, bitch, please. Boomers got fucked because dude got elected on running against Trump. And if you can read the scene right there, he basically still wiping some cum off his mouth because Trump gave him a load before they started recording it.
I didn't see any elbows up there.
No. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. I completely agree with the Canuckian. Carney's about knees down, ass up. That's the way he likes to fuck. Yes, 100%. You're back. Thanks for putting that in my mind.
Joe is dead. Yep.
Hey, by the way, Joe, can you confirm that you're working on the server now? Yes, you are. Ding, 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 ding. That was a problem. So Joe is able to share his mind on discourse.
Perfect.
On the Discord server, which is fucking perfect. Yeah, man. Canuckian, if you've never, I don't remember ever. Yeah, hold on. All in. Yeah, so is Carney and Trump. Trump is all in Carney
he's all
right
in.
now. I agree with you. But the Canuckian, if it's your first time here, because I don't remember your name, this is the type of shit you can expect from us. We talk politics. Yes, I'm a conservative. Yes, Rob is a liberal. But you know what? We shoot this shit. We are gonna say what others don't have the balls to say. And I totally agree with you. Carney is gonna take a massive load from Trump, and he's gonna like it.
Oh yeah, he's already gotten one, and I think Vance is coming for sloppy seconds afterwards.
See, the Canuckian's first time here, bro. Yes. Again, if it's your first time here, this is the type of shit you can expect every single fucking day. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and comment, bro. Continue commenting.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, if you are new for the first time, again, basically what you see is what you get. We do talk politics, and we do, tackle serious topics, but we do it in our own unique style. We're trying to build a pretty chill, relaxed community here. And yeah, Sylvie says, "Oh my God, guys, please, I don't want that visual." It's just so funny
Too-
because he was
too late.
elected. Yeah, it's
Too late.
Yeah.
You want a real visual? Trump is big enough to pick up Carney, put him on the
Oh, I don't
counter
want-
before he
no.
fucks him.
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
just saying. I'm just saying.
He looks back and locks eyes with him.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, that's disgusting. But yes,
not good.
yes,
Not
yes,
good.
yes,
not
yes,
good.
yes.
No.
No, Sylvie, I will not. I have a microphone and I'm
Yeah.
gonna use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jason says this is Friday. It's got those Friday vibes, doesn't it? But no, it is Tuesday.
Actually, Jason, I'm pretty sure that jizz is Jizz.
Yeah,
not
jizz.
Jeez. Just
Jeez.
saying. Jizz, is it Friday already? Sing. Yes.
No, did he really say that? Cyril Arnold says, did you miss what Carney said? He said he spoke to the owner of Canada, referring to King
Oh, yes.
Charles. He
Yes,
was
of course.
installed by the crown. Did he actually use that word? Did he say owner of Canada?
Well,
Or just like head of
how-
Canada, leader of Canada? It's all
you know, no, but at the end of the day, he's right. We are. See, this is one thing that blows the mind of my American friends when I explain to them that we did not separate from the UK. We are still under the king. If you look at your money, guess what?
Oh yeah,
There's a king or a queen on it, and they still rule us. Like Carney announced this week or last Friday, that that King Charles is going to give the address to Canada from the throne. The fact that we have a throne just tells you that there is still a king that's in charge.
Yeah.
Yep. But King Charles is going to come up here and he's going to tell us what he wants from us. But at the end of the day, man, we are still under the crown. This is a fact. Unlike the US that won their War of Independence, we did not. We are still subservient to them, and that's a fact. Like it or not, he is the owner of Canada.
Well, I mean, he's certainly the ceremonial head. I think some people, are not quite sure about exactly what kind of power he wields. Certainly he wields at least soft power. If him and Carney are best friends, he's certainly got some say, much more say than he should have in our affairs. Personally, I think we should just cut those ties. I don't think it benefits us at all anymore. I don't think there's a huge push for it one way or the other, but if people start to get the sense that the crown over in England is actually interfering in Canadian policies and laws, I think though they're going to push back pretty hard.
There was a theory that this was all organized. I think it's Wise Guy that's always talking about having
the North American.
Yeah. So one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, and hopefully we got some really good listeners with better memory than I do, but one of the guys was posting on X saying that this was the plan all along, that Trump and Carney know each other. This is all bullshit. But then the goal is to either annex Canada to the US, and that's where King Charles is going to come into play, because technically he might have the power to actually do so. But that was the theory, that the plan is for Carney to win so that Trump, Carney, and King Charles can sit together and figure out how to annex Canada to either the US or maybe to build an alliance like Wise Guy's been talking about. So
yeah, I mean, to me it sounds pretty conspiratorial. It's possible, I guess. I think I just think there's so many reasons why we don't want Carney, and that's just one more to throw in the pile. It's there's nothing, I don't see anything good coming from any of this. But what is funny to see that little bro fest down there in DC, because he was elected entirely because he was going to stand up to Trump, and
yep.
Now not looking so good. Yeah.
It's hilarious when you think about it. I did not know what to expect, but I gotta say, this does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't.
And I agree with Wise Guy. Wise Guy just said that it's all theater, and you know what? Zing, I agree 100%.
100%.
It's all theater, but I didn't get fucked, because this is not surprising to me. But all the boomers out there that voted for Mark Carney, you know what? Voting for Mark Carney makes you a MAGA, because he clearly supports Trump. So the Liberal Party of Canada should have a little red hat that says, make America great again because
Yeah.
you are now part of the MAGA clan. Just saying.
And Nick says Trump's ranting now about Obama, Biden, DEI, and woke. Not even talking to Carney. Yeah, just Trump being Trump. So
yeah, but at the same time, what do you expect? What
Yeah.
does Carney? We've been saying this from the get-go. Ever since those tariffs started, we said the same thing, and we never changed our speech. We have no leverage.
None.
So at the end of the day, this is just a show, like our listeners or commenters are actually saying right now. They're bang on. I agree with them 1,000%. This was all theater. But what I really want to know, and I can tell you we will be talking about this tomorrow, I want to see the reaction of the left-leaning media. How are they going to spin this shit so that Carney looks like he was standing up for our rights in the US? Because if you look, we will replay this shit with higher quality. Hopefully, I'll find a stream that doesn't.
Yeah,
lag.
and we'll cut because
And
there's a lot of fluff in there. So, but we'll
a
get
lot.
to a lot
Again,
it's a lot
Carney
of-
was still wiping his mouth like this is
Yeah.
bullshit. But again,
Misfit says we have no leverage because Trudeau shot us in the foot. Yeah, I mean that's what
100%.
happens when you have 1% GDP growth over 10 years. You don't have the ability to stand up to anything. And yeah, exactly. Trudeau really fucked us on that one. Cyril Arnold says Carney got visibly upset when the reporter asked if 51st state was on the table, and Trump said yes and went on his usual talking point.
of course, he
Carney
did.
got flustered and panicked. His voters see that's a rookie mistake. You had to know Trump was going to say something like that. You have to expect that. And personally, I actually don't think maybe he's serious, but I don't really think he's I really think he's serious about Greenland. I think a lot of this is posturing, negotiating. So yeah, for Carney to look panicked and flustered, I think that's a bit of a rookie move because he had to have known this was going to come up. Vic says
at the end of the day, he was told to be there. Let's not lie to each other. He needed to go there to talk. They did. They're talking now.
Oh, Trump
You
summoned him
cannot
for sure.
Yes, you cannot control what that guy's going to say. You can't. It's out of your control. And Carney does not have the personality to overtake Trump.
No.
Like, he doesn't have the charisma. As much love Trump or hate Trump, you know when he's in the room. He has charisma. He takes a lot of place. And want to hear him or not, guess what? Not up to you. Up to him. He has the biggest microphone over there, and he's going to fucking use it.
Yep. Dysfunctional parents of Alberta has any sense. They're going to get out as fast as possible. And that's, I think, a good segue into the main story of the day. So we are going to play Danielle Smith's speech yesterday. Probably just for a few minutes before, we'll just kind of get some context. And also, I do want to, because we kind of got into this a little bit, and then we went to Trump's. But what did you guys think of that speech? If you haven't seen it, it's fine. We're going to play it. I thought it was clear. I thought it was concise. I thought she struck exactly the right. She had a very fine tightrope to walk between, because she still is premier of Alberta, which is still a province of Canada, and she still does have to walk a certain, walk a fine line. And I actually think when the referendum happens and people are actually campaigning, I think she's going to officially support Remain to keep Canada together. And that's actually, I kind of respect what she's doing now even more, because it isn't, I don't think she's necessarily a separatist, but she's giving, this is how democracy is supposed to work. She's giving Alberta a voice. She's giving Albertans a say. But I want to hear what you guys thought of it. What did you think about that speech?
I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved that speech. That's why when you told me yesterday night, I'm going to cut it down to 10 minutes, I listened to it.
The whole thing, yeah. It's all
this
good.
morning, and I'm like, I would not remove anything, because she talked about gun rights. She talked about everything she could, as a real conservative, not conservative or a small C, not a big C. Everything she said, I'm like, yep, you're bang on. You're absolutely bang on. And it's impressive that she went for about 18 minutes and she made just a few mistakes reading off of a teleprompter. That shit ain't easy. If you've never read off a teleprompter and keep it good, it is hard. And she made a couple of mistakes, nothing flagrant, but it was beautiful. That has to be my favorite.
It's going to be taught in
speech in the
political
past.
science classes for years.
Because one thing I want you guys to pay attention before we start playing the video is that she mentioned that she wants to stay in Canada. She wants to find a way to keep Alberta as part of Canada.
Yep.
But at the same time, remember, yes, last week she lowered the requirement of 600,000 signatures to start a referendum to 177,000. And instead of getting, I think it was 30 days or 60 days, she extended it to 90 or 120. So she literally doubled the time. She lowered the amount of signature. And she mentioned a couple of times in the following video that she will not start the referendum. She will give the opportunity to a citizen-led coalition to start that referendum, to get the signature that they need. She played it brilliantly.
Yep.
I want to stay in Canada, but you have the power to start a referendum if that's what you choose to do. Brilliant. What she did was
I thought that was true
brilliant.
leadership. I thought that was really, I thought she hit exactly the right note.
And what you're saying there is, at the end of the day, this is why I like Danielle Smith. Do I agree with 100% of what she's saying? Fuck no, I don't. But one thing I got to give her, she's the only leader that I would support in Canada. She literally does, even though she's saying, I want to be part of Canada, she will not stand in the way of Albertans separating. I love it. This is what a fucking leader is supposed to do. And she played it perfect, if you ask me.
I couldn't agree more. Cyril says Smith's ultimatum is exactly what Carney can't deliver. She acknowledged the independence movement and the grievances while keeping her distance to depoliticize the issue. Great move. Yeah, that's a great point. Because to me, when you, and we're going to get into her 4 demands specifically, we know Carney cannot meet those. Not politically, he can't. Ontario and Quebec will cook him, and Danielle knows that too. She knows that essentially in my opinion, she baked in the referendum in 2026, and that this is going to be a hell of a ride from now until then. And again, guys, as we've said, this is not going to be a referendum podcast or anything like that. But me and Nico, we realized right like the day after the election that this is probably going to be the biggest story in Canada for the next 18 months at least, and possibly a lot longer. And the mainstream media is not going to cover this properly. So if this is an important story to you, make sure to like and subscribe here, because we are going to be all over it. We're pretty clear about where we stand. We're outsiders. We're not Albertans. I personally don't want Albertans to leave. I want us to stay together. I want Canada to stay whole. However, I believe their grievances are legitimate, and I think if it's not too late, it's going to be very soon, and Canada needs to pull its head out of its ass.
And my take. As much as you say that you don't have, I'm an Easterner. I'm from Montreal. I lived in either Montreal or Ottawa. Those are the main 2 places I've lived over the past 15 years. The point is that we are not aware in the East of what's going on in the West. I was in BC last week for 4 days, and I got to speak to people that are from there. And man, the environment is so different from here. We got a lot of relationship over the past few months, especially I used to cover a lot of US politics. This is how I build my platform. Now we're all about Canadian politics. And I'm starting to learn, the more I deal with Albertans, how deep that cut is. Something I was not fucking aware of until about 4 months ago. So as Rob said, the point is not to turn this into an Albertan separatist podcast, but it is not going to be addressed by mainstream media. And on top of that, Easterners don't understand what's going on. So who's better to talk to Easterners about not understanding what's happening in the West than Easterners? And considering you're from the Maritimes, I'm from Quebec, we are deeply impacted by what's going to happen. I don't want Alberta to separate either, just because it's selfish. It's easier for Canada to
stay. It's better for Canada, yeah.
I have no intentions of staying in Canada, but if I were to stay one place, my wife and I were talking about this yesterday. If we were, and she brought it up, so I got to love my wife for this, but she's like, hey, if we ever stay in Canada, which we're not planning on, we're like, she told me she wanted to move to Alberta. I'm like, man, there's a good reason I married this woman. So, but I agree with her 100%. If I were hands tied and I can't go anywhere for some reason, I'd move to Alberta before they separate, just so I can be part of a real conservative movement. Because in my opinion, the Albertan movement that's being led by Danielle Smith and the citizens that are forming their own organization are real patriots. They want to be part, at the end of the day, they wanted to be part of Canada, but Canada keeps on fucking them. So they're like, you know what, we're done, but we want to take care of our people. You gotta love that. You gotta absolutely love.
Yep. I mean, great. I just thought it was great leadership, and it's exactly what a democracy is supposed to be. She said she does not want Alberta to leave, although I do. Wise guy here says secretly Smith wants Alberta to separate. She had it with Ottawa a long time ago and knows as a country they would be rich. Imagine keeping all the transfer payments. I think there's some of that going on. I like I said, I suspect as premier of Alberta, she probably I doubt she'll campaign for the leave side. She may not campaign remain.
She doesn't have to.
She's not going to be
brilliant.
She's not going to be upset by it. She's not going to be bothered by it, and she is positioning herself perfectly to be the leader of if they do separate. Cyril here.
Hold on, stay on the other comment.
Go ahead.
The only thing I would say, wise guy, is as much as I say that I don't want them to separate, that she played it perfectly. I also believe, like you, deep down, that she wants to separate. I think she had enough too.
I think there's something to that.
But it's so brilliant the way that she did it. She is allowing the space to be open. She's saying, Carney, you have your chance to do something, but her demands, as much as they're not ridiculous at all, I think they should have that as part of Canada. She knows that he's not going to give it to them. And, because can you imagine if he did? No, but hold on.
Because they're absolutely reasonable.
But hold on. Yes, but they're not reasonable to the person that voted for Carney. So Carney sold the eco crap, sold the carbon tax crap, he sold the climate change bullshit, and he sold that he would stand up to Trump, and he called Pilievre mini Trump. That was his whole fucking campaign. Basically, after today, we're going to see that he is friends with Trump, and if you can read the room, that was pretty fucking clear.
That was pretty
now we now know that his whole campaign based on fear was all bullshit. And now you got, and you know, she's not an idiot. Danielle Smith knew this. We're not behind the scenes, right? So I guarantee you she knew this. That's why she's making those demands, because now you're starting to point out to the boomers that voted for him that not only will he not stand up to Trump, he's going to be faced with massive clawback, as in support Alberta or we're separating. He's fucked. No matter how you look at it, he's fucked. And the boomers that, if Trump is fucking Carney fucked the boomers. Like, it's a train going on right now, but it's the boomers that are going to pay the price. It's going to be ugly, man. It's going to be ugly. Yeah. But I will be laughing. I will be in the background laughing my ass off because this is hilarious.
She painted Carney into a corner. It essentially kind of clipped his wings on his prime ministership before it even began. This is going to be the number one thing he has to deal with, and there's no easy way out for him. I think Quebec really overplayed their hand, especially when they kiboshed the Energy East pipeline, because one way or the other, they're losing those equalization payments. Either that they give Alberta what they asked for, which is one of the demands is to stop paying Quebec $14 billion a year, or they're going to leave. And either way, Quebec's losing those equalization payments. So it's funny when we play that clip of who's the bloc leader? Blanchet. Yeah, he was just so smug and arrogant when he said,
"Not anymore.
Oil's done. There's no future for oil here in Quebec." And yeah, well, I think he's gonna wish. They're gonna wish that they allowed that pipeline, because they really fucked themselves. They killed their golden goose with that one.
I'm really starting to understand why so a lot of the people out west that I've been speaking to in person and over social media have been saying the same thing, that this was the best case scenario for the Albertans that wanted to separate.
Definitely.
And now the more it goes, the more I'm starting to understand what the hell they're saying, because especially with a Carney like today, seeing the interaction that he did that he had with Trump, they're buddies. So now Carney has nothing. It's gonna be ugly. It's going to be very ugly, but everything is in the hands of Carney. Yet, who's holding the cards? Alberta. Alberta is like, royal flush playing
They're
poker.
holding all the cards.
And I'm Carney, and I've been bluffing the whole way through. It's gonna be ugly. It's because no matter what, it's gonna be ugly. No matter how you see it, if Alberta stays, that means he needs to go back on his word. So no matter what he does, it's not gonna work for himself. Oh no, and it's gonna be funny. Again, I'm gonna be laughing, and I'm finally understanding why Alberta, the separatist movement of Alberta that I've been speaking
We're
to, are
hoping
like,
for this. Yeah.
oh fuck yeah, of course
He's
they
either-
are. Now I
either-
get it.
He's either going to be the guy who caved to Danielle Smith, or the guy who oversaw the breakup of Canada. There's not anything. Nick, we'll catch up with you later. Just before you go, this is a comment you made here a few minutes ago. Danielle Smith's demands are very reasonable. I think all Canadian premiers should be backing her up. I completely agree. Obviously Quebec, Ontario, and BC won't be. But she made that carve out saying she does not mind supporting the smaller provinces.
No, yeah,
the
right.
thing,
Like
the thing
east,
with the
east,
exactly. And the thing with the equalization payments is the formula was written with Quebec in mind. It was written to make sure Quebec gets $10 to $15 billion every single year. And it's they're one of the richer provinces in Canada. There's no reason they should be getting $15 billion. And just Alberta's sick of being the piggy bank. And I think, Danielle Smith, she played her cards perfectly. She had a strong hand, but she played it well.
We were showing at Sasquatch, by the way. We're showing the stream for about 5-10 minutes. And as soon as we saw the type of relationship between Carney and Trump, we knew this was going to be a fuck fest, and he wouldn't have any power in that meeting. And thank you for confirming. Sasquatch saying, just watch the Carney/Trump meeting. He kept putting his hand to talk like he was in school, and no one would call on him. Ha. You know what? Of course. You know why? Because people couldn't see him. He's too short. He would have needed a booster in his chair. But that's why, right? If you're going to interact with Trump and you expect him to just, oh, hey, we haven't heard from you. Here's the microphone. Good fucking luck, because he's going to hug that microphone the whole way through.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Trump's very sort of primal, right? It's very body language, and he does that thing where he grabs your hand and he pulls you in, and if you're not ready for it, you can really, and it sound. I think some people might think, oh, who cares? It's a handshake. That shit matters, man, especially on the world stage. If you're getting manhandled on the world stage by another leader, you look weak, and it's not even. Trump, and
the back of his head, not his hand. Yeah, he grabbed the back of the head and just guided him. Yeah, you come here, Mr. Carney.
good boy.
You remember, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if Carney's hair is going to be split down the middle.
I'll take a few of these here. Mark says, "Can you imagine if Danielle?"
Take a few of the comments. I'll be right back.
Yeah, actually, while you're gone, this is probably a good time, guys. If you're new here today, because it looks like we got some new faces. Welcome to the Political Orphans. This is our thing. We discuss politics and culture. I am a liberal. I'm the resident lefty. Nico is a resident righty. But really, we're both just common sense people who are sick of politics as usual. And we created this space for people like us, because we knew there was a lot of people like us who were just disgusted with the discourse politically, to create a space where we can have disagreements, we can find common ground where we can, respectfully disagree when we can't, and just create a space that's a lot healthier, I think, than a lot more productive than is out there on the internet these days when it comes to politics. So if that sounds like you, please stick around. We have very recently started a membership scheme, for lack of a better term, with YouTube. I think it starts at $2.99. Just that it helps support us, but it also will give you access to the Discord channel, and you can jump over there and be part of the community over there. So please stick around if you like what you see. If you think if you think this is an important show, there's a space for this kind of a community, then please support us. But other than that, the other way to support us is just comment. This show is meant to be live because all of our energy comes from you guys. And so
membership program is a lot better than scheme.
Membership program, yeah. Schemes like scheme.
Ponzi scheme.
Yes. We'll twiddle our mustaches. But yeah. So with that, and if you guys are watching from X, please like and share over there. If you're watching from YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you do want to support us, buy us a coffee once a month. please do that membership.
You know, Tony Beef, Smith made a huge mistake by not.
Is that the free
removal.
speech bill or the hate speech bill?
Yeah,
I think it's
so,
because it was.
hold on.
It's
Let me
not.
just read the comment for
go
the
ahead.
people that are listening to this. So Smith made a huge mistake by not including the removal of Bill C-63 in the requirements. It does not exist. It's been tabled because the Parliament was was stopped for 5 months. It got dropped. So technically, Bill C-63, if it were to pass to be put on the table again, it needs to be redone.
Yeah.
So
it's off
right
the
now
table
we're
right now.
okay. It's off the table as per now. Is he gonna go for another one?
He
Absolutely.
said things that sounded like he might be.
About Twitter, especially. So
Yeah.
of course he will. No questions. I get you, Tony Beef, and maybe she should have, but I'm pretty sure she at one point I've heard more than once she said free speech in
Yeah.
there. She did. You're right that she should have said, you know what, we don't want any bill like Bill C-63. You know what? That would have been a great. You know what? You're right. I'll just agree with you on that one because I think you're bang on.
It probably would have been hard for her to say because, as you said, it's not a bill right now, so it's kind of but I'm sure she definitely talked about free speech, and I'm sure if the bill comes back up, I'm sure she will be very vocal in opposing it. There's going to be hopefully a lot of people like this show is going to be absolutely opposing it. There's no, again, if you are new, one of our core values here, A, is common sense, but B is free speech. That is not a partisan issue. That's not. I know it seems like it today, but it shouldn't be. I am a liberal, but a common sense one, more of a classical liberal, and I long for the days when we can get when we had free speech as a core liberal value, because it doesn't seem like it that much these days.
But that's the number one thing. If you ask me, I believe in
Everything
free
flows from that.
speech. Free speech and gun rights. Those are my two main things as a conservative. And you need free speech or else you're not free. Plain and simple.
And that's actually a great sort of example of how the show sort of the dynamic, because I would absolutely agree with Nico on his first point. Not that like I support gun. I don't think guns should be illegal. I think they're useful tools. But I would say that Nico's definitely more.
I spent a lot of time in Alabama,
important.
motherfucker. I believe in
gun rights,
open carry.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And like for me, like I said, it's not a core value for me, but at the same time, I understand why it is for other people. I don't think it's a ridiculous position, and it's not for me. It's not a moral issue. It's a tool. I see the value in it. I think they should be available, and with some common sense restrictions is what. And that's probably where we would disagree, because
we disagree.
You don't want any restrictions.
No, zero. To me, an armed society is a polite society. So, at the end of the day, and this is a great point, because we've had this discussion many times and we'll continue having it. But what I like about this show, what I like about our interactions, what I love about the interaction with our commenters is, even if we don't agree, we mostly recognize what the problems are.
Yep.
When you open that conversation, you start realizing that we are pretty much on the same page when it comes to the problem. Where we disagree is how do we address the problem? What's the solution? But we agree on what the problems are.
And that's a great
this
point.
Is why opening up that conversation is what this is all about.
That's a great point, because in my opinion, that's where the productive debate lies, right? If you look out there, all right, what do we got?
He's calling you a homo.
Let me see.
Fuck it, I'll let you read this comment because I think he's
no offense, but I can tell who wants guns and who doesn't before you even said it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a classical liberal. That said,
and you know what's funny, Mark? He was in the military. I wasn't.
Yeah, I served in Afghanistan.
So yes, he looks like the type of guy that sucks penises on the weekend, but he actually is. Yeah, he's a cool dude. Give him a chance, Mark. Give him a chance.
That's too funny. No, I don't look like the kind of dude that sucks penis, for the record. In case you're watching, in case you're listening to this on the Spotify podcast, I do not look like a person who sucks penis. That is my,
I love that.
That is my official position. That's my official position, and I'm sticking to it.
Mark is saying that all love, no offense, bro.
Oh yeah. No, all good.
And even if you hurt Robbie's feelings, nobody gives a shit. That's fine.
Yeah.
But But as long as you do, as long as you say no offense, you can say whatever you want afterwards.
Yeah. I like
Is that
how
how it
yeah,
works?
it's like, hey, I don't want to cause. If someone ever says, no offense, but you always know something
You're
offensive
a
is coming right after.
No offense,
Yeah.
but you're a
No
fucking
offense, but
asshole.
you're a fucking
No
idiot.
offense.
So
Shall we play the video?
Yeah, I just want to take this one quick. Canada puts you in
And then we'll
prison if
play
you
it.
try to protect yourself or your family. See, I think that's absolutely
100%.
fucking ridiculous. I'm a supporter of castle doctrine.
Yep.
I think if you are going to walk into my house, especially if I have, my family, my wife and kids there, I don't want proportional force. I want overwhelming fucking force, and you have forfeited your life.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah,
no, I'm a martial artist. I've done 20 years in martial arts. I'm very trained with guns. And if you fuck with my family, even as a Christian, I can tell you, you step in my house uninvited, you have surrendered your life. Whatever
100%.
happens afterwards is 100% on you. I will do whatever the fuck it takes in order to protect my family. Plain and simple.
Could not agree more.
So you want to play? Let's start the video, because just to give a bit of segue, this is where we're going. As it says at the bottom, we wanted to talk about how Danielle Smith sent an ultimatum to Carney yesterday. In my view, and I think Rob agrees, it was fucking brilliant. So brilliant that Rob tried to cut it down, and I'm like, hey, bro, we can't. We need to show this as a whole.
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna listen to what she said. We're gonna pause it
just before
when
we
it
go.
makes sense.
Just
No, because
since we're
this
on the
is why
top-
we're still here, motherfucker.
Since we're on the topic here, there's me in Afghanistan. That's me.
Yeah, that
with
looks. Is that you?
That is me with hair.
That's what you look like without a beard. Oh yeah, you do look like you suck
Yeah.
dick without a beard.
Baby faced.
I know. Hold on. Stop that. This is an Instagram pose. No, go back. Don't be a
Oh,
bitch.
wait, which
go
one?
back.
No, this is
Look
Facebook.
at that. Like, no, but this is an Instagram pose. Like, hey,
Oh,
my girlfriend makes
hey.
those poses all the time. Like, you put your
Here's,
foot forward. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, except I was in the middle of a fucking war zone being hunted by the Taliban, so I think I'm all right.
I
This
was
is
being hunted by the Talibans.
and we
Yes, sir.
this is my lab after we got hit by an IED. You can see, but yeah, no, that's
All I want to say, Mark, this is how much impact our comments have. Now Rob felt the need to prove that he wasn't gay a weekend homo.
I just laugh because people are like, oh, you're liberal, like you know, they're talking about hunting. You have to use gun. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm hunted men before. Like the most dangerous game.
But see, Mark, this is the type of power you have on this show.
Appreciate that, Mark.
Oh, now I'm getting shit from my wife saying I think I called her my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah,
I'm being replaced. Lol, ass, I'm your wife. Yeah, she listens to us. And believe me, she's a woman. She remembers shit. We don't. I say too much shit in one day to remember everything I've said. So you want to start with a video?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Cool, I got it here.
You got it there? All right,
Let's bring up this video and let's jump into it. So this is Danielle Smith from yesterday. Let me go forward a tiny bit because it did take about a minute or so before she jumped in. And
brother.
Yeah, you know, and this is, you know what, it's worth showing before we get into video. Okay, can you stop? As much as I make fun of Rob, we're just kidding. Like, I have the utmost respect for the people that served in our military. All my family served. I have a lot of friends that are ex-military, so it's all in good fun. It's just he kind of looks gay, but looking gay doesn't mean you suck dick, right? So I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, if we one of these days we'll get down into numbers there, and if we want to play the numbers game, I'm up there. I feel like me and you both probably have a bit of we'll have a competition ourselves. We got
of course, but all to say that it's
more
all
stories.
Fun.
Yes, of course.
And Mark, you're bang on again. You're bang on. Mark is saying that you guys are the perfect example of two people that disagree and can still be friends. The world could learn from us guys. That's the whole point of the show.
Great comment.
So, yeah, we agree.
And I think I think when we started the show, it was intended to be somewhat of a model for because if you look at the political discourse out there these days, it's basically the other side's the enemy. They're idiots, they're morons, they're evil, they're wrong, and it's just toxic. We're trying to create something a little bit different.
We appreciate that. Sure. Is it Shirley? Is that how you pronounce this name?
Cyril?
I'm a French dude, so I massacre name all the time. But Shirley Arnold, just confirm that it's how you pronounce your name, because I get a feeling this is not the last time we're going to see you. You got your guys' trash talk is great. Well, yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that's our thing.
So how'd you pronounce it, Rob?
Cyril.
Because it seems like
Cyril. Yep.
Oh, Cyril. Oh, Jesus. I would have never got that. So let's go to the video and let's listen to what Mrs. Smith had to say yesterday. This is awkward when you're staying in the camera.
My fellow Albertans, today I wish to speak to you about the future of Alberta and Canada. Albertans have always been loyal, proud, and generous Canadians. We love Canada. We have fought wars and died defending Canada. We've opened our doors wide for millions of our fellow Canadians searching for opportunity, many of whom stay and become Albertan, and many who return home to their native province. All have been welcomed with open arms. Our province has contributed hundreds of billions of dollars more to the federal treasury for use in other parts of the country than will ever receive back in benefits. We have allowed this to occur because, quite frankly, we know how blessed our province is with an endowment of natural resources that no other country on earth possesses. And we want all of our friends, families, and fellow Canadians across the country to benefit from it. We don't ask for special treatment or handouts. We just want to be free to develop and export that incredible wealth of resources we have for the benefit of our families and future generations. Free to pursue opportunities with the ideals of entrepreneurship, hard work, and innovation that have become synonymous with the name of our province. Freedom to choose how best to provide healthcare, education, and other needed social services to our people, even if it's done differently than what Ottawa has in mind. Strong and free is more than just our provincial motto. It represents who we are and how we want to live as a people. And that is why Albertans are so frustrated with the direction of our country. For the last 10 years, successive Liberal governments in Ottawa, supported by their new Democrat allies, have unleashed a tidal wave of laws, policies, and political attacks aimed directly at Alberta's free economy, and in effect, against the future and livelihoods of our people. They have blocked new pipelines with C-69, cancelled multiple oil and gas projects, and banned the very tanker ships needed to carry those resources to new markets. They have stacked an oil and gas production cap on top of a crippling industrial carbon tax, making new energy and agricultural projects economically impossible to pursue without massive subsidies from governments, which Ottawa has failed to provide and which our taxpayers cannot afford. This onslaught of anti-energy, anti-agriculture, and anti-resource development policies have scared away global investments to the tune of $500 billion.
That's
driving
insane.
those investments
$500 billion.
Yeah, and I just want to pause
$500 trillion. I was just waiting for her to stop to take a breath to pause it too.
And it's just, we talked on the show, we've been beating this drum a lot, this 1% growth over 10 years, because it's historically bad in the industrialized world. I don't think there's been a modern nation in recent memory with that kind of performance. And we talked a little about why that is. And essentially what we discussed is what she's exactly saying here. It's a worldview that the Liberals have, that extracting your natural resources is immoral or unethical, even if you do it responsibly. And I agree, you should do it responsibly. But if you're the leader of a nation that's rich in natural resources and that's your worldview, that's a death sentence for the economy. And that's why it just boggles the fucking mind how we saw 10 years of that and we said, yep, those are our guys.
But the biggest fallacy of this whole thing is the fact that places like Quebec, for example, that do not want a pipeline to hit the eastern shore, which is the Atlantic, are the ones receiving the biggest equalization payment. And where does it come from? Alberta. So it's okay for them to take the money, but they don't want to participate. This is the whole
They love taking the
hypocrisy.
oil money, but they don't want to help participate in them getting the oil money.
How much sense does that fucking make, right? It makes zero fucking sense.
They keep their hands clean, right?
And
They
if
get
the
to
roles
feel-
were
yeah.
inverted, you know that Quebec would be complaining like little fucking bitches. They would never shut up about it.
They would never allow it.
No. So this is the thing, right? It's very interesting, or the hypocrisy is so evident now. I'm very curious to see how Carney is going to deal with her when he gets back from getting his ass kicked in the US, because goddamn, this conference we showed earlier was just two bros shooting the shit, but one of the two bros is kind of retarded, and that
Yeah.
was Carney. Like, he was like the little retarded brother that is just around for shits and giggles.
I mean,
But I don't know how he's going to deal with her. If he can't
yeah,
deal with Trump, she's going to demolish him.
to me, I'm seeing some people like just here on X are saying like, oh, Carney manhandled them, and I don't see how that's possible. But I didn't even see it necessarily as like Trump was clearly in the lead, but it just looked really buddy to me. It looked like two bros, as you said, and I think that more than anything is just a complete fucking repudiation of everything that the liberals or liberal boomers voted for, because their entire reason for voting for Carney was that he was going to put Trump in his place, and we didn't see any of that.
But see, yes, Joe, I've been looking at the comments. I'm not going to take them all because it's just, I don't know that I want to address too many of them. But at the end of the day, there is, what's his name? Hold on. Let me find the one I wanted to show. We have somebody that seems to be, Robert Stevens is basically saying, let me see, this is not the one. He's just going on and on and on. There you go. That's the one I wanted. So Robert Steven is saying Carney talking to Trump is like an adult talking to a slow child with a gun. You clearly did not watch the same conference that we did, because all I saw was a little shy kid sitting in a corner waiting for his turn to speak. And he looked like, literally, when the cameras turned on, it looked like Carney was still wiping some of Trump's cum from his mouth. This was all a fucking show. If you voted for Carney because you thought he was going to fight with Trump, you got played, bro. If it was not self-evident, I don't know what the fuck you were watching, because this was clear. Carney was playing his role. His role was to blame Trump. And Trump has all the leverage, and Trump fucking knows it. Love Trump or not, if you voted for Carney, you are now a MAGA hat. You voted for MAGA. So good for you. Hopefully you won't be ashamed to wear your red hat.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not even about personalities. It's as you said, it's about leverage. Canada doesn't have it. It doesn't matter who is the prime minister. America does. Doesn't matter who's the president. We don't really, there's no, I no scenario did I see Carney as mopping the floor with Donald Trump there at all. I'm not quite sure. If anything, they seemed like just two BFFs who are kind of backslapping and being like, man, you can't believe the Canadian voters fell for that shit. But
they're going to learn. They have a hard lesson coming their way, and I believe that Robert Stevens also saying ditch Daniel. Brother, that sounds to me that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you voted for Carney. You're gonna realize very fucking soon that he has no power over Trump, and Danielle Smith's gonna handle him just with the video that's there. So if you don't have anything else to say, I'll let it play. But don't go ahead. Go ahead.
That said, there's nothing wrong. If you voted for Carney, you're a liberal. There's a place for you here.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Just show your work. Tell us exactly what you don't like about, and try to keep it to facts. And I think this is your first time here, and we appreciate that. We always love a new face, and but we are trying to keep a sort of a productive debate environment here, where we're there's nothing wrong with being obvious. I'm a liberal. I didn't vote for Carney. I don't like him. Actually, it's less about him. It's more about the Liberal Party. I don't think you can reward 10 years of the worst performance, worst economic performance in the modern world. But if you do disagree with something we're saying, absolutely chime in. Just tell us how you disagree and what you think. And there's definitely a place in this community for that.
There absolutely is. Just show your work.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's continue.
We'll get back to that. Yeah.
Yep, let's continue.
Jobs out of Alberta and Canada to much more attractive investment climates in the United States, Asia, and the Middle East. Having traveled much of the world these past few years, it is evident that Canada is not viewed as an attractive place to invest in resource development, manufacturing, or agriculture because of our high carbon taxes, endless red tape, and the uncertainty and chaos brought about by these and other federal government policies. As a result, Canada has fallen to dead last in economic growth among industrialized nations. The world looks
We've
at us
shown
like
that
we've
graph
lost
so
our
many
minds.
times.
We
The
have the most
GDP graph.
abundant and accessible natural resources of any country on earth, and yet we landlock them, sell what we do produce to a single customer to the south of us, while enabling polluting dictatorships to eat our lunch. For Albertans, these attacks on
I
our
love how
province
she
by
just
our own
attacked
federal government
the
have
carbon
become
tax right there.
unbearable.
Yep.
As I said, these policies have cost Albertans roughly
That's, and I just want to, I'm not sure if people are aware. So Alberta, their only customer is the United States right now for their oil. And because of that, America buys Albertan oil at a pretty significant discount. I believe it's like 20% over the global oil price. So if you see $100 a barrel as the global price, I believe America is paying like $70 or $80 a barrel. And it's because they know they're the only customer. If we don't sell it to them, we don't have any other customers. That's another reason why it's so important to get this export capacity on both coasts, because A, we'll sell a lot more oil, but B, we'll sell it at the market rates, the world global market rates.
But it's more than that, though. Remember that most of the oil is not refined in Alberta. They sell the unrefined oil to the US, and then often we rebuy it from them once it's been refined. So we definitely have an infrastructure problem, not only on the pipeline going east and west and having port access, being able to have oil tankers on each side, but we also lack the actual infrastructure, or let's call it the infrastructure to refine our own oil. That's also another problem, which how many jobs are going to be created if she does? If Carney if Carney agrees
absolutely.
or disagree and they separate, there so many jobs are going to be created just from the infrastructure, building that infrastructure alone.
Put Canadians back to work.
Oh, 100%.
Monica, I'll just take this and then we'll continue the conversation. She says, how about she have an actual meeting and discussion before issuing ultimatums?
But they did
while he's at a meeting with Trump. So this is from yesterday.
But they did.
Yeah. I mean, this has been going on for 20 years, I believe, for Alberta. These aren't new grievances.
No, but they talked. Hold on.
They did. She did have a meeting. You're right.
Monica, check it out. They had a conversation last week.
Actually, she's going to talk about that here.
Exactly. So this is nothing new. She did the right thing. No, she played it brilliantly because they had a talk last week. And obviously she did not get what she wanted, or she did not get the impression that she would get what she wanted. And she released this, but they did talk first and foremost.
And she does say, I think she says something like, it sounded positive or promising, but I think the word she uses, Alberta, is show us with your actions, not your words, which again, that's leadership. But
at the same time, she's not just talking to this message was not for Canada. This message was for Albertans. So she's kind of giving an update as to where she is, but at the same time, she's talking to Carney directly. She's talking to Alberta, and she's presenting both sides. How she did it is brilliant. I have nothing to say about maybe adding the Bill C-63, like mentioned, the free speech. But outside of that, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Absolutely. We'll just take this one last one because I saw this come in and I thought this was great.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Robot? What up?
Mr. Robot says, isn't it completely hypocritical to reject Canadian oil, some of the most ethical and cleanly produced in the world, while buying from corrupt, polluting, abusive regimes like Saudi Arabia? Yes, it is. It is completely hypocritical. So I live in New Brunswick, and we have a very large refinery down here in St. John. And every single day, if you go down there, you will see a large lineup of ships out in the harbor, because we refine 300,000 to 400,000 barrels a day. So at $100 a barrel, that's $30 billion, I believe. $30 billion a day. And someone can correct, maybe it's 3 billion. I don't know. Someone correct my math.
Yeah.
300 million. Sorry, 300 million.
Yeah, that does not sound 300 billions.
100 quadrillion dollars a day. It's a fucking lot of money. I think I did the math the other day. Maybe it was 30 billion a month or something. But that's money that's going to Saudi Arabia that could be staying in Canada and going to Alberta if we had the capacity to bring the oil over here, and we don't. So yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because at the end of the day, if we don't produce it, the energy is going to get created somewhere. It's going to be bought from somewhere. And if it's not done here, it will be by, repressive, corrupt regimes like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Because the same people that are telling us not to buy Canadian oil are often the same people that support trans, that support LGBTQ.
It's funny how that
community,
works, right?
which Saudi Arabia would throw you off a building. To
Queers
see
for
if you can
Palestine.
fly. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So this is even more hypocritical than Quebec not wanting a pipeline but taking the money. You got the people that don't want to use our own oil that will support Saudi Arabia, when if they were in their country, they would not exist.
Yeah, that's a great comment.
They
Mr.
would be
Robot.
unlived. Yep.
Unalived, yes, disappeared.
Unalived. No, they
And-
wouldn't disappear. They'd make a very public scene about it. They'd
Oh
show you
yeah,
how to fly.
That's
Learn
true.
how to fly, mama.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go. Yeah, that's right. I'll have a building. All right.
roughly $500 billion in investment, and that loss is growing daily. It has and will continue to cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, robbing countless Albertans and other Canadians of their means of providing for their families. It has cost us a decade of opportunities and tens of billions in lost royalties that could have been invested in the health, education, infrastructure, and social services Albertans and Canadians need. And what's worse, Ottawa continues onward with more destructive policies. They have imposed net zero mandates on our natural gas-based power grid, causing investment in reliable generation from natural gas to flee, thereby endangering the future stability of our power grid and risking future blackouts and spikes in electricity costs for Alberta families and businesses. They have attacked our food producers with methane taxes, onerous regulations on fertilizer, electric vehicle mandates, and many other destructive policies that have hiked costs on our farmers and ranchers and driven billions of dollars of investment in agriculture elsewhere. They've interfered in provincial jurisdiction time and again, from taking over the regulation of plastics to mandating how we operate childcare, healthcare, and dental care, to harassing law-abiding firearms owners, to dozens of other examples of unconstitutional interference.
She is the only premier, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be not talking for Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but I am 99% sure that she is the only premier that brings up gun rights, that had the balls, or the not balls, let's just say she had the courage to bring up gun rights, because she just said it. She talked about guns. Pilievre didn't really talk about guns during his campaign at all. She does, because you know what? Albertans love their guns just like I do. I just enjoyed the fact that she slipped that in there. Just like, oh, hey guys, gun owners out there, I haven't forgotten about you, and this is how I can just put it in there. Just enter the conversation. Love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And when I say, just, we were talking about earlier, like me and Nico don't necessarily agree on the gun issue. By no means do I want gun owners harassed. I think, I think it should be, guns should absolutely be available. I don't necessarily want US style gun laws, but I do not want gun owners to be harassed. I want people to be able to get guns as long as they, go through the process or whatever that is. And, we've talked a little bit on this show, and that's really the most I've learned about the process. And, I live in New Brunswick. I don't need a gun for safety or protection. If I lived in Toronto, I would want to be able to buy a handgun for self-defense purposes. Did you know, and I'm sure that you do, I just saw this the other day, it's actually illegal to have any weapon for self-defense purposes in Canada.
It's not legal. If you go,
it's illegal. You're not allowed to have a weapon for self-defense.
I told you this before.
Well, you told me for a gun. You told me that for a gun, and I thought that was wild. But I saw the other day, it's like, you can't have pepper spray. You can have bear spray if it's for a bear. But if it's for self-defense, a woman cannot carry bear spray down. That's fucking wild, man.
Bro, there's been some cases in Canada where somebody hurt themselves breaking into a house, and they sued the owner of the house for their house to be not secure. Like, it's the dumbest fucking
shit. That's insane, man.
But that's Canada for you. Yeah. So, just want to highlight that she mentioned guns, because I love guns.
Of course, Alberta has fought back. We always have and always will. We passed the Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act and have invoked it twice to protect Albertans as best we can from the effects of the net zero electricity regulations and the energy production cap. We beat the feds in court on both the No New Pipelines Law, C-69, and their attempt to regulate plastics.
I agree.
Though they have ignored both court decisions to this point. And we have just announced a court challenge on the net zero electricity regulations and are further preparing to also challenge the energy production cap. We continue to do all in our power to counteract Ottawa's chill on investment in energy, agriculture, and our other job sectors through various tax cuts and incentive programs, which greatly strain the provincial budget. We have fought these attacks from Ottawa furiously and have won some important battles, but the lost opportunities, jobs, and futures of so many Albertans are costly and demoralizing, as are the growing number of Eastern politicians who choose to openly demonize and target Alberta for political gain. That is why a large majority of Albertans are so deeply frustrated with the results of last week's federal election. It's not that our preferred candidate and party lost. That happens in a democracy. Is that the same Liberal government with almost all the same ministers responsible for our nation's inflation, housing, crime, and budget crisis, and that oversaw the attack on our provincial economy for the past 10 years, have been returned to power. Now, as we all know, one thing has changed. We have a new Prime Minister. And I will say that in my first conversation with him since the election,
there you
he
go.
had some promising things to say about changing the direction of his government's anti-resource policies. However, Albertans are more of a actions speak louder than words kind of people.
Yeah.
So while I
that's what it
will
is.
in good faith work with Prime Minister Mark Carney on unwinding the mountain of destructive legislation and policies that have ravaged our provincial and national economies this past decade, until I see tangible proof of real change, Alberta will be taking steps to better protect ourselves from Ottawa.
And this is, what was the name of the woman earlier that had said she should have spoken with Carney first? This is basically confirming what I was saying. And this is the part you were referring to earlier, that
Yeah.
she did have a conversation with Carney last week. Carney even spoke about it, or at least posted. I'll say posted because it was a post that I saw, but he at least posted about it. And she's obviously referring to it right now. So she did everything up to now. She's handled
doing right.
perfectly.
She's doing
Yep.
it right. Like I think someone made a comment up there. We're saying she's sort of she's setting the stage so that I think she knows the referendum's happening no matter what. But the way she's doing it will be able to credibly deflect from any criticism that it's treason or traitorous, because she's clearly giving Canada a chance here. She knows that they won't take it. She knows Carney can't take it, but she's dotting her I's and crossing her T's, and she's absolutely doing this the correct way.
Guys, just so you guys know, Northern Hillbilly, I put him on a timeout. Like he's just all caps writing some not very intelligent stuff. And even if it was like, I just don't want this to destroy the whole conversation that you guys are having. So as much as I believe in free speech, that doesn't mean that there's no consequences for your action. You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. But if you're starting to all cap and just write,
you got to contribute to you got to contribute to the discussion. Yeah,
if you're not contributing, you're just trying to hear yourself talk and you're not contributing to the conversation. I don't see you're not moving the needle. What's the point of the conversation? So if you're still there, bro, I didn't stop you from talking. I just put you in timeout like I would do my child. Like right now, you're in a corner staring at the wall, thinking about your actions. Now, as a father, I'm just explaining to you that those are the consequences to your actions. Once that 5 minutes is done, you can come back and hopefully you'll contribute to the conversation. But this is not the type of behavior that's conducive to the type of conversation that we want to have.
If there's a million shows out there, or if you just want to repeat slogans on all caps, and there's all kinds of shows out there. We're trying to create something a little bit different, a little bit more productive. So yeah, I mean,
not a little bit, a lot different,
a lot more. Yeah. So we'd like to hear you back and hear your takes, but again, you got to show your work. Just kind of spam in the chat's not really what this show's about. And thankfully, 99.9% of our audience gets what we're trying to do here, and I think that they kind of appreciate, exactly what we're trying to do here. I think, when we started the show, we said that there's a lot of people out there who feel like us, and I think it's validating to see that we were correct. I'm just going to take this quickly here. Sasquatch says, no offense to Rob, but it always seemed to be the case in the U.S. The Liberals start fires, then run on putting the fire out. Maybe it's different in Canada. It's not. That's what they do up here too. I'm not like I said, I'm more of a classical liberal, and honestly, if I'm really honest, I'm probably having past year or two, probably having a bit of a existential crisis about exactly what I am. One thing that was pretty clear as we sort of started doing the show, and it's something I felt, is that a lot of times the left right dichotomy doesn't really work. It's starting to break down in modern political discourse. There's very few people who fit very neatly into that left right. We still use it because it still has some value to describe your positions, but I would not vote for Democrats if I was American. I would not vote for the Liberals. I didn't. I voted for Pilievre. And it is even because I didn't even feel great about it. I don't particularly like Pilievre. He didn't earn my vote. It's just the Liberals made it so that I was going to vote for anybody who had the best chance of taking them down.
All I'm going to say, Sasquatch, is give it another 6 months of recording content with me every day, and Rob is going to come out the closet. Not as in I'm a homo, that he always will be, but he will come out at least as a more conservative homosexual.
Well, so. I don't know. I feel like enough of my positions elsewhere on things like, abortion, even guns, social safety net, rural government.
You're a classical liberal.
Yeah,
the point of the matter is you're more of a classical liberal.
Definitely.
I'm more of a Christian conservative. But as we show every day, there's a way for us to have common sense conversation, even though there's a lot of subjects that we don't agree. But if you look, we probably agree on 80%,
probably 80%,
85% of things, like most people out there. But we always focus on the 15-20%. This show's about addressing the 80 and see if there's something to be done about that 20%.
Exactly right. Yep.
Want to continue this?
Yeah, let's jump on there.
As a start,
there you go.
I will soon appoint a special negotiating team to represent our province in negotiations with the federal government on the following reforms requested by our province. We hope this will result in a binding agreement that Albertans can have confidence in. Call it an Alberta Accord, if you will.
Yeah, so here's the big four.
Alberta requires guaranteed corridor and port access to tidewater off the Pacific, Arctic, and Atlantic coasts for the international export of Alberta oil, gas, critical minerals, and other resources in amounts supported by the free market rather than by the dictates and whims of Ottawa. Every province in the country, other than Alberta and Saskatchewan, have coastal port access, and no province needs it more given the size and value of our resources. This will benefit all Canadians to the tune of trillions of dollars of economic activity, including billions for First Nations partners. Second, the federal government must end all federal interference in the development of provincial resources by repealing the No New Pipelines Law, C-69, the oil tanker ban, the net zero electricity regulations, the oil and gas emissions cap, the net zero vehicle mandate, and any federal law or regulation that purports to regulate industrial carbon emissions, plastics, or the commercial free speech of energy companies. These laws are destroying investment confidence and costing Canada and Alberta hundreds of billions in investments each year. They need to go.
Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you, you know what? I'm going to ask the question to the people that are listening. We have about more than 500. We're probably close to 600 people watching this show right now. So let me ask you guys. Comments like Northern Hillbilly is making, like all caps, not looking to contribute to the conversation at all. He's just looking to hear himself talk. At least that's what I'm seeing. I want you guys to tell me what you believe we should do with those guys, because I'm not going to ban anybody. Like, I will never block somebody from coming back. Never going to happen. But there's an option on YouTube to put him in a corner. So I could put him in a corner for the rest of the show. And if he comes back afterwards and he changes tune, because obviously 5 minutes wasn't enough. So I want to hear from you guys. This is a community we're building, so I want you guys to have as much say as I do, as Rob does. So what do you think we should do with Northern Hillbilly? Should we let him continue to do what he's doing, or do you think that he deserves to be in a longer timeout because he didn't listen the first time? So you guys tell me.
I mean, I'd rather see if anybody's, I don't, not whoever it is, if anyone's spamming, then I'm kind of not really interested.
Yeah, but again, that's a bit of a difference between you and I. I'm more free. I'm 100% free speech. I want people to be able to talk, and maybe he just needs to listen. So he just needs a small lesson.
Everyone else can block. Apparently, as Jim Bitway says, if chat doesn't want to see his comment, YouTube lets us block. Okay, that works then. We just want to make sure that there's no one else is ruining the experience for you guys. As long as you guys are cool with it, that's cool. We're cool too.
It's all about you guys either way. I get comments like those by the hundreds, if not the thousand, almost every day. So whatever. I'm used to those.
I just want to take a quick one here.
So don't worry. Hold on. Just let me address Jim Bitway. I will never block anybody, but I have, unlike you guys, I have the option to put him on a timeout. So I can just put him like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I think I can put him an hour, which will bring us over the show so he can come back tomorrow if he wants to. But Jim, I don't remember ever seeing you before. I will never block anybody. I don't believe in blocking people. So,
I mean, I do. Joe says, I see Rob as common sense working class guy who values individual freedom, fair play for fair work, a reasonable social safety net, including defense. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable summation of how I feel. And Rusty Wiener says, I dislike his filters on the gun issue. He'd try to get one just to see how difficult it is under normal circumstances. Feel like he only sees Toronto news. Yeah, and I'll be the first to say it. It's just not on my radar screen one way or the other. I just don't really care. Not that I don't care, but it's just, I'm not a gun owner. I live in New Brunswick, in a pretty safe community. I don't lock my car or my house. And when I remember, I do. But I'm sure if I lived in Toronto, I'd probably feel differently. And then once I got into the process of getting a gun, I'm sure I'd probably be radicalized. So when I say, I don't mean I'm opposed to guns. It's just not, I don't know, maybe a top 10 issue for me. Certainly not a top 5.
No, put the comment back again. So Rusty Wiener, I had that conversation with him before, and he's not aware of what it takes.
No, and I'll be the first to admit,
and this is where I can get along with Rob, because it's just an education thing with Rob. We've spoken about it, and he was very surprised by what I told him, because I'm a gun owner, so I know what it takes, and I had my black badge, so I could compete, so I know what it takes to get all the way there, and it is not easy in Canada. So I get you. I understand. It's one of those things that to him, it doesn't matter. But one of my buddies years ago, I think I've been a gun owner for about 10 years. And my buddy told me 10 years ago, he's like, the day you have a gun license in Canada, you will become politicized. And he was absolutely fucking right. So
I can see that for sure.
Now, that being said, before we go back to the video, Northern Hillbilly just wrote, trying to educate, brother. Piece of advice: nobody listens to you when you're all capping, no comma, no nothing. You're just all capping, like you're actually bashing on your keyboard, trying to say stuff. You're not having a conversation with the people in the comment section right now. All you're doing is talking to them. Nobody is. I got to tell you, man. If you expect the commentators here to be uneducated, you're not on the right show, bro. The people that are there have an extremely smart commentator, and that's something that always amazes Rob and I every single day. So if you want to share your opinion, that's one thing, please do. But at the same time, if you think that writing in all caps, talking about stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about is going to move the needle, it's not. You're just it's just a nuisance for most people that are in the comment. Just saying, bro.
I think misfit. As long as you guys can block if you want. I just didn't want. I just didn't want it to sort of push people away. As long as that's fine, that's all. I don't give a shit. Yes, let's go. Absolutely do. We all do. Yes.
We all know who it is, and Carney sat on the board. If he's not still on the board of the WEF, he is a self-proclaimed globalist banker. This is not anything new. Even Pierre Pilievre was part of the WEF. You could find him on their website. His picture's still there. If you want to go right now, you can still find his profile. We do know what the WEF is. So yes, we absolutely know. So
It's just
you're-
we're not really talking about that right now. It's about the
Eh,
Alberta separatist issue.
exactly.
Third, the federal government must refrain from imposing export taxes or restrictions on the export of Alberta resources without the consent of the government of Alberta. Frankly, all provinces should be given that same respect for their resources. And fourth, the federal government must provide to Alberta the same per capita federal transfers and equalization as is received by the other three largest provinces, Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia. We have no issue with Alberta continuing to subsidize smaller provinces with their needs, but there is no excuse for such large and powerful economies like Ontario, Quebec, BC, or Alberta to be subsidizing one another. That was never the intent of equalization, and it needs to end. If these points can be agreed to by the federal government, I am convinced it will not only make Alberta and Canada
And she knows that
infinitely
they won't
stronger
agree
and
to
more
it.
prosperous country.
This is
but will
exactly what I was
eliminate
thinking.
the
You know that
doubts
she
a
has,
growing
she
number
doesn't
of
think it's gonna
Albertans
happen.
feel
She,
about the
you
future
can
of
see it.
Alberta in Canada.
Yeah,
She's just
she
playing
knows.
the
These
game.
negotiations
Yep.
with Ottawa are ongoing. Our government will appoint, and I will chair, the Alberta Next panel. This panel will be composed of some of our best and brightest judicial, academic, and economic minds to join with me in a series of in-person and online town halls to discuss Alberta's
She's clever.
future in
She's
Canada.
so clever.
And specifically,
Yep.
what next steps we can take as a province to better protect Alberta from any current or future hostile policies of the federal government. Details of the membership and scope of that panel will be released in the coming weeks. After the work of the panel is finished, it is likely we will place some of the more popular ideas discussed with the panel to a provincial referendum so that all Albertans can vote on them sometime in 2026. To be clear from the outset, our government will not be putting a vote on separation from Canada on the referendum ballot. However, if there is a successful citizen-led referendum petition that is able to gather the requisite number of signatures requesting such a question to be put on
Agreed,
a
100%,
referendum,
Misfit.
our government will respect the democratic process and include that question on the 2026 provincial referendum ballot as well.
I love how she's staying at the camera. She's drinking like
That's gotta
it's
be a
like
little-
she's talking. No, but she's talking to Carney like, "Hey,
Yeah.
bitch, do you hear me?"
Yeah, it takes her time. Pause.
Oh yeah, but she stared at the camera as in,
Oh yeah.
"Are you getting?
Yeah.
Are you getting
Yeah.
what I'm selling here?" Because I agree
Um,
with you. She has no. You can see that she knows that Carney's bluffing.
Yep.
She's holding a royal.
She's holding
flush
all the
flag.
cards. Yeah, Alberta's holding
Like,
the cards. And
What's next?
Yep.
Your move, motherfucker.
That's right. That's right. Cyril says equalization is a constitutional issue. Carney can't deliver and will enrage the other provinces. Great job, Danielle. Yeah, I agree with that. It's just she put him into a corner. He can't agree to it, and so he is going to be, a week into his term. He's now looking at the breakup of Canada. And this is going to suck. This is going to suck up all of the oxygen in his room. He's going to have to devote the vast majority of his entire prime ministership to this issue. And I don't think he understood what he was getting into here.
Well, just Therese is saying just as
Just
long
a
as
long
time out,
time.
just like we do with children. That was the point. But there's one I wanted to show because I've struggled with this as a conspiracy theorist. Jim Bitway is saying maybe the WEF types want separation. How else to move us closer to a North American Union? If the goal is a one world government, no matter how you look at it, there's a way to get there. It could be through separation, which Alberta could join the US as the 51st state. It could be full Canada joins as the 51st state. It could be, as Wise Guy's been talking about, it could be that they just want European Union style in North America, where Canada, the US, and Mexico are going to be under the same money system. It could be that Carney is going to destroy us to a point where we get invaded by China. Any way you look at it, bro, there's a way for the WEF types to actually get us closer to a one world government. But the point in the matter is that as you just said, you know what, bro? You're reading my mind. It's just a big club and we're not in it. I agree. Any way you want, and this is why my conspiracy theorist mind never fucking stop. Any way you want it, there's a way to end up there. Is that what's happening right now? Fuck, man. I don't know. Would it surprise me? No, it wouldn't. And you've never been here before, but listen, we both have our little hats, but
That's
this one I
ready.
think is a
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist. So it's not a conspiracy theory, but I feel you, bro. We're on the same page. It's just we'll see.
I mean, would they focus on does Canada move the needle for people if someone is trying to say push a one world government?
Yes, because of our, you know what she was saying earlier, saying that, and we've said this multiple times too, where Canada, in my opinion, at least in my opinion, I won't talk to her and for you, but in my opinion, Canada is the richest natural resources country in the world, and especially that it's untapped. So in a case where if you're using countries on a world's base, Canada would be one of the biggest place where we could produce all natural resources and export them to the rest of the world, right? If there's one government ruling everything, Canada is so rich in natural resources that it could be where you grow shit, where you grow trees, where you get oil from, when you get uranium from, where you get a bunch of different shit of natural resources from here, and you exploit it and you send it over the world. So no matter how you look at it, if you believe in the one world government, this could just be the next step. It could be. I get it. I fully understand. Want to finish this?
Yeah, let's what do we got left here? 8 minutes.
I also want to state unequivocally that as
probably
Premier,
like
I'm
6.
entirely committed to protecting, upholding, and honoring the inherent rights of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Therefore, any
She's covering every
citizen-initiated
single
referendum
angle here,
question
every single day.
must not violate the
Yeah, that's why she's
constitutional
very
rights
clever.
of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and must uphold and honor treaties 6, 7, and 8. Should any referendum question
Now she's
ever be
addressing
asked.
the
This is
First
non-negotiable.
Nations. She's clever.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, that being separation.
Basically taking away any
We are
possible
well
attack
aware
angle.
that there
for
is
the,
a large and growing number of Albertans that have lost hope in Alberta having a free and prosperous future as a part of Canada. Many of these Albertans are organizing petitions to trigger a citizen-initiated referendum, as I mentioned earlier. The vast majority of these individuals are not fringe voices to be marginalized or vilified. They are loyal Albertans.
She's so clever.
They are quite literally
so clever.
our friends and neighbors who've just had enough of having their livelihoods and prosperity attacked by a hostile federal government. They're frustrated, and they have every reason to be. I want to talk directly to those Albertans. I know how frustrated so many of you have become with our country and the feeling of having politicians living thousands of miles away, passing laws and rules that have cost you your loved ones, jobs, careers, dreams, and opportunities for a brighter future. As most Albertans know, I have repeatedly stated I do not support Alberta separating from Canada. I personally still have hope that there is a path forward for a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. And let me explain a few reasons why. First, Alberta already has and can continue to use the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act and other measures to fight through much of Ottawa's damaging interference and prosper in spite of it. We will also continue our successful battles against these unconstitutional and damaging policies in both the courts of law and public opinion. And there is more to be hopeful for. This past election demonstrated that attitudes across the country, especially among young people, are changing with respect to understanding the importance of free markets and the development of our natural resources. People are pushing back against government censorship and cancel culture. More and more Canadians understand that in order for Canada to play a role in ending conflict and poverty at home
she's
and
hitting
abroad,
all the notes,
our
hitting all
country
the right
must
notes here.
become
Yep.
strong again. And we can only do that by becoming an energy and economic superpower using the vast and unmatched energy, mineral resources, and fertile lands of our country. 85% of Canadians in this last election voted for the two leaders promising to turn Canada into an energy superpower and to build resource corridors, including for oil and gas, while only 13%
I remember when I saw
voted
this
for
last
the
time, I was
fringe
like, what?
voices in the Socialist,
she's-
NDP, and Bloc
Like,
parties
she's
and their
she's big
extremist
bigging up
leave it in the
Carney a
ground
little bit
policies.
here. I
Obviously,
assume
And
just,
the
people have
NDP,
ways
just to be
she
diplomatic.
literally just said, she literally just called the Liberal and the NDP a uniparty that kept us hostage. So what I've been saying for
Oh,
years
no, is that what
she,
is that what you took from that? Because I think she said 85% of people voted for the party that promised to turn Canada into an energy superpower, and I think she means the Liberals and the Conservatives. I think she's including Carney in that.
no, but hold on. That's not the part I'm talking about. It's the part where she,
corridors, including for oil and gas, while only 13% voted for the fringe voices in the
she's
Socialist,
gonna say
NDP,
after
and Bloc
this.
parties and their extremist leave-it-in-the-ground policies.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So
The Bloc and the
obviously
NDP.
she basically lumped the Liberal and the Conservative together. That's
Yeah.
why she didn't split them up, so it doesn't sound like she's saying it by calling and then calling the
She's
Bloc.
being diplomatic here.
She's being more than diplomatic. She's being fucking intelligent because she's not closing the door. This is what is so brilliant about what she's doing. Because on one side, she, as I think it was, hold on, there's somebody that said it. See, Northern Hillbilly. Now you're participating to the conversation. So she tells you what you want to know. Now it's goodbye and take care, prepare. This is exactly how I see it too. She's basically making demands to open the door to say, I told you exactly what we wanted. It's up to you to meet it. But we all know that Carney cannot meet it. No matter how he looks at this, it's a fucking disaster. Because if he folds,
Yeah, he can.
he's going to have folded with Alberta, and he folded with Trump. We
Yep.
saw it earlier. Or he stands tall. Well, he stands erect because he's very short, but he stays erect and he stands up to her. Alberta leaves. No matter what, Carney's fucked. So she's playing the game. She's very, very clever. And she's hitting all the. I don't know who wrote her speech, but goddamn, they did a good job.
Cyril says she's highlighting the commonality between liberals
Yes.
and cons voters. They both voted for their guy, but for the same issue. Yeah. So, and I've seen her take some flack and some criticism online from the Quebec separatists for this kind of thing. That I think some of them thought she was a little too deferential to Carney. But I mean, look, she is a politician, and the way I see it, she's a damn good one. She has to be diplomatic at this stage. She has to leave a path available. She's just doing what she has to do. I think she's, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever nice things she might say about Carney or bone she chooses to throw at him, she has absolutely put him in a fucking checkmate here, and he has no move here. There's no good move for him.
The reason I will never be a politician is because I'm very biased in my opinion. I have an opinion, and I don't care to be politically correct about sharing my opinion. I don't give a fuck what, if it hurts your feeling, check the mirror. She's not like me. She is the complete opposite. She is not alienating anybody. She's giving the opportunity to for the Liberal to do something, knowing that they can't. So she is checkmating them with us. You know what's worse than a guy like me? Somebody that's going to tell you to go suck a dick with a smile on its face without ever having to say it, but you fucking know. And that's what she just did. She literally said,
look at the look in her face right now on this
20 minutes,
on this freeze frame.
This is basically what she's doing the whole time. Like, fuck you. Here's what we want. You can't deliver, but fuck you. We're going to deal with it. But she did it with a smile. She has more balls than any single premier in Canada, yet she has no balls. So that says a lot about her. She has the biggest balls as a premier without having actual balls. It's very fucking impressive. She played the game perfectly. Perfectly.
we have a ways to go, and it will take a lot of work to undo the damage caused by these last 10 years of Liberal NDP rule. But that clear change in public opinion gives me hope. I think it should give all Albertans hope. Now, none of us knows what the future holds should Ottawa, for whatever reason, continue to attack our province, as they have done over the last decade.
Yeah, who knows?
Ultimately, that will be for Albertans to decide, and I will accept their judgment. But I am going to do everything within my power to negotiate a fair deal for Alberta with the new Prime Minister. And while doing so, Our government will work with Albertans on various initiatives to better protect Alberta's provincial sovereignty and economy from Ottawa should those negotiations fail and the economic attacks continue. Alberta didn't start this fight, but rest assured we will finish it and come out of it stronger and more prosperous than ever. In closing, I want Albertans to know how important it will be in the coming months for our province to be steadfast, unified, and to refrain from heeding the voices of those seeking to divide Albertans against one another. There will be many outside, and even inside this province, who will try and sow fear and anger among us. They will seek to divide us into different camps for the purposes of marginalizing and vilifying one another based on differing opinions, effectively pitting neighbor against neighbor and Albertan against Albertan. This is not the Alberta way. It's not who we are, and it's not who I am. There are thousands of Albertans who are so frustrated with the last 10 years of Ottawa's attacks on their friends' and families' livelihoods that they feel Alberta would be stronger and more prosperous as an independent nation. That is an understandable and justifiable feeling to have, even if we disagree on what to do about it. These Albertans are not traitors, nor should they ever be treated as such. They just love their province and family and want a better future than the one Ottawa is offering them right now. There are also thousands of Albertans that are so attached and loyal to their identity as Canadians that there is nothing Ottawa has done to our province that would justify Alberta leaving Canada. It's not that they think everything is perfect or that we've been treated fairly. They just believe being part of Canada, despite those problems, has much more value than leaving. These individuals are also loyal Albertans and should never be accused of being anything less. And then there are hundreds of thousands of Albertans that probably feel a lot like I do, that are deeply frustrated with the way our province has been mistreated and damaged by successive federal Liberal governments and are not willing to tolerate the status quo any longer. But these Albertans still believe there is a viable path to a strong, free, and sovereign Alberta empowered to succeed and prosper within a united Canada. A Canada where the federal government actually honors the Constitution, upholds provincial rights, and empowers provinces to pursue their unique potentials as their people so choose. Regardless of what each of us believes about this issue or what path we think is best, we as Albertans must be able to respectfully debate and discuss these issues with our friends, family members, and neighbors. I know that if we do that, in the end, our province will find the best solution for this immense challenge we face and come out of it stronger and more free than ever. I'll always put my faith in Albertans to find the right path. I trust you. May our beautiful Alberta always remain forever strong and free.
And she should have got up, dropped the mic, and just leave.
That was just a masterclass in.
I think you're right. You know what you were saying earlier? This will be taught in political what is it? Political science.
Political science class.
This was brilliant. This is my favorite speech I've ever heard, at least in recent memory. This is the best. It's brilliant.
It's such an emotional, contentious issue with like people on all sides, not just one side or the other, but like up, down, left, right. Like she had a fucking like a hair worth to walk such a fine line, and she did it perfectly. I think she held out hope for staying together, but she made clear that these are very serious issues in Canada. I think she struck the right tone, and hopefully the rest of Canada pays attention. To me, that's not entitled. They're not whining. They're not complaining. They're just saying very matter-of-factly, this is not working, and if you can't fix this real fucking soon, we're out.
It will be taught. I couldn't agree with you more. It was fucking brilliant. The only thing, so there was a comment earlier about the free speech or the hate speech bill, like Bill's B63.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Mentioned, but there's only one other thing that I would have done different. I would have done it live, as in take questions like we do every day. That's the only difference I would have done. I would have had the press there to be able to take questions, because I strongly believe that she can address it as good as anybody.
And I'm sure she will.
Yes. No, but it's just, this is the only thing that would have made it Like if she mentioned free speech in there and she would have taken, even if it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes of question, it would have been literally drop the mic, leave, disappear for the rest of the night. That one, say nothing else. You don't want to fuck what you just did. Stay home, lock the door, and do nothing else. Hold on. I just wanted to take one of the comments from Northern Hillbilly saying that
I laughed when I saw that.
I still give thumbs up because at least you didn't censor me, but you wanted to. I didn't want to censor you. Rob is more of a censoring type. I don't believe in censoring people. I believe in free speech. The only reason I put you on timeout earlier is to give you time to think about it and to try to explain to you that's not what we're trying to do. But at the same time, I'd be a fucking hypocrite if I did censor you and kicked you out altogether without giving you the chance to do better. Because at the end of the day, I won those conversations. And if this is the type of comments you're going to drop from now on, I'm fucking happy that you did. I hope that you I hope that you continue commenting. I hope that you subscribe and you support us. Man, I would happy.
We want comments from all over the stuff.
100%. That's the whole point, and especially from the people that I don't agree with or the people that disagree with me. Those are the people I want to talk to because I don't need an echo chamber. Very easy for me to find one. I just need to read, and that'll be it. I don't need to get people's opinion if that's all I wanted. I want those conversations. So, thanks for toning it down. Thanks for participating. And this is the perfect segue to say that if you want to support Rob and I, we do have membership available. The smallest one's the equivalent of buying. It's cheaper than buying a coffee at Starbucks, cheaper than buying a beer. And not only will it give you access to obviously comment, they will highlight your name so that we can take priority on your messages.
Members are always going to get priority comments, right?
Because man, we must get at least 200-300, if not more, comments an episode now. And it will also give you access to our Discord server, which is member only. If you're not a member, you can see what we're talking about, but you won't be able to comment. You can react to the comments, but you can't share. So if you're interested about continuing to have this type of conversation for more than 2.5 hours a day, join our membership. It's $2.99. You get access to the Discord server, and I've set it up in a way where it's conducive to conversations. We want to continue those conversations. We want to build an environment. We want to build a community of people that don't know where the fuck they sit politically wise. We don't have a party representing us, but at least, and for the people out there that their families are tired of hearing, if your family is tired of hearing you speak about politics,
come over here.
Save their ears. Go to the Discord.
Save your relationships with your families.
We will be your political family on our Discord server. So, once again, brother, Northern Hillbilly, thank you for toning it down. Thank you for participating. Guess the timeout worked. So thanks again for being there, brother.
Yep. No, it's this is basically what this show's all about is just getting on, even if we don't agree, just kind of getting to a place where we can have a productive conversation. And I think that was a good example of that. Cyril says about that clip we just saw, the activist media will clip the sound bites and twist it all for their narrative. I'm already seeing it. Some of the headlines are like, Danielle Smith beats the drum of separation, and no, she didn't. She clearly didn't. She actually did the opposite. She made clear she doesn't want Alberta to separate. What she did do is say she's going to listen. She's going to let Albertans to decide. And again, this is exactly why me and Nico decided literally the very next day after the election, we could see this coming. And we thought there's no way the media is going to cover this fairly. And so we know there's going to be a lot of hunger for this kind of story. And so we were like, why, we're going to provide that as best we can. So anytime there's any updates, we're going to bring it to you. We're going to try to get some guests on onto the show and walk us through the process, because it's pretty complicated. We're not lawyers. There's a lot of moving parts. And so if all you ever do is watch this show, you will be very informed about this issue.
Yeah, and this is another thing. If you do have recommendations of guests you would like us to have on the show, topics you would like us to cover, conspiracy theorists, because you're talking to one right here. If you have conspiracy theories, all of this is available. I have all different chats on the Discord server in order to get access to us, basically to be able to continue what we're doing here 24 hours a day. And I'm just looking for places to share more of the shit I can't share on YouTube because I get in trouble. That's why I run a different podcast, and I'll start sharing my videos on there. So will Rob. So there's going to be a lot of exclusive stuff that's only on Discourse, because we can't fucking talk about it on other platform, or else I know I've got banned. I've lost a lot of fucking followers because of bans. So, and this is the truth. This is the situation. But the Discourse, who's running it? Me. So we're good.
Yeah,
we're fucking good.
Yeah, and the reason why we're doing the membership thing now is, if you've been watching the show for a couple months, up until about last week, we were able to, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were able to take every single comment. We were able to take every single comment. And then, I think probably related to our election coverage, we started to get more and more followers. I think the YouTube algorithm started to boost us a little bit, which is great. But in some ways, we're kind of victims of our success a little bit. And now there's just no way we can take every single comment. So if you do support us with that membership, one of the perks you'll get here is you always have your comments highlighted here. You get priority comments if you don't have a membership, doesn't mean you won't get your comments highlighted and responded to. If it's a great comment, if it contributes to the discussion, we're going to put it up there regardless. It just means if you do pay that that $2.99 a month or whatever level of membership you get, you're going to ensure that we get to your comments.
Yep. So what do you want to do? Do you want to take, because there's one more subject that I wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about what's going on with Pierre Pilievre. It's not going to be long. It'll take less than 5 minutes to cover it. So
all right, let me take we'll do some of these comments for 5 or 6 minutes, then we'll jump on the Pilievre thing and we'll call it a day.
Cool.
Jim Bitway says, what are the other premiers saying about this? Has anyone hear anything? No, that's a good point. And I think someone up earlier had said something like that, and I hadn't really thought about it, but now that I think about it, I think there is a space. I think there is a space for some of the premiers to say, you know what, Danielle Smith is right. Like, we have been, because the demands are utterly reasonable, and it's gonna be funny watching the media try to spin this into some ridiculous entitlement grab, because it isn't that. But I would like to see some premiers say, you know what, Danielle Smith is right. We have been treating Alberta unfairly, and we need to do better to help make them feel like they're part of this. It has to work for all sides. And right now it isn't working for Alberta. So I think I'd like to see some of the premiers take that angle.
man, I think hold on, just let me check something here. I just want to see, because I don't know if this is a mistake. Yeah, it might be, because Danielle Smith just went.
Your mic it just cut off 2 seconds ago.
Do you still hear me now?
No, I got you now. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably because I was playing the video. But
is there
Danielle Smith's? Yeah, Danielle Smith's live right now.
Okay, you want to put that on?
There's nothing. It's the intro that she had at the beginning of the video we just showed, just the Parliament on it looks like just their canned video intro. Yeah. It's just been playing for about 10 minutes, so it's nothing.
Okay,
it's nothing yet. We'll see. Hopefully, it's something that we'll get more to talk. But man, if she's going again, Jesus, that woman is not letting it down. Good for her. But I agree with you that this might be the opening door to other premier to actually stand.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
But I don't see it. I see Quebec coming strong against her. I see Ontario, Doug Ford, the Liberals.
Quebec, absolutely. Absolutely.
But Doug Ford is a massive Liberal. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to support Carney like he's been doing since he's been PM. The only people I see coming out is obviously Saskatchewan, maybe Manitoba. I doubt it, but Saskatchewan's going to come. I don't see.
And people need to understand, it isn't going to be just Alberta. Saskatchewan is going to jump on that in a second if Alberta goes. And BC might actually consider it. But yeah, I agree. You probably aren't going to see too many, but I'd like to see it. And forget the politics of it. Just do what's right. Objectively, we have been taking advantage of Alberta. The rest of Canada has been. For sure. And
Yep.
in some ways, they're fucking saints for being as patient as they are. You know what I mean? So I just like to see someone just do the right thing. Just say it's perfectly fine to say, you know what, they're right. They have a point. How can we fix this? How can we make it right?
Amen, brother.
All right, you want to take that last clip bit there with Pilievre, and
Well, it's not even a clip, it's an image. And see, guys, this is another advantage of the Discord server. It allows us to do this. This is something that was posted by Robin yesterday on our conspiracy theory portion of the server chat, of the Discord chat. So basically, do you guys remember who the Longest Ballot Committee is? You know, the committee that added 85 fucking candidate on Pierre Pilievre's riding of Carleton. They added 85 people to the ballot, meaning that there was 91 people total last time I checked.
How the fuck was that allowed?
But now they're at it again, but this time they're going even worse than they did last time. So this is insane to me. But here's the post that was shared by Robin yesterday, and before I shared it, obviously I confirmed it this morning. Even CTV News is reporting on it. And yes, they are looking. Let me scroll that in if X allows me. Fuck, X doesn't allow me to do it properly. But basically, all it says is that Battle River Crowfoot needs 200 candidates. Battle River Crowfoot a besoin de 200 candidats. Basically, the same people that added 85 fluff candidate on Pierre Pilievre's writing, conservative writing that he's been holding for 20 years, on top of the liberal government rewriting his writing, merging it with a very liberal writing right next to it out of Canada, are now trying to do the same in Alberta in his race. They are looking for 200 people to join, which is absolutely hilarious if you ask me, because let's be honest here, if it was a conservative government that was doing that to the Liberal Party leader, there would be a fucking outrage. They would be losing their shit. But because it's a liberal doing it to a conservative, it's okay, no problem.
By the same people who are always talking about subverting democracy and fucking like, this is clearly a subversion of democracy. There's no legitimate democratic reason for this. They're being blatant about it. I don't see how it's allowed. I don't see how Elections Canada isn't stepping in and saying, no, you can't do this shit. You're making a mockery of the election process.
Especially that they're not hiding the fact that those candidates are added to the list as a joke.
And they're targeting
and you know what, guys? There is fees. There's a few $100 fees to just be on the ballot. So if you're, where's that? The question, and this is for my conspiracy theorists out there, because goddamn, there's a conspiracy behind it. If you ask me, who has that type of money? Who has tens of thousands of dollars to just drop against a political leader? Like, who does that? Like, even let's say that it's citizens, who's backing them? Where's that money from? This is the question that I have. So it's very interesting that not only is Election Canada allowing this, but where the fuck's that money coming from?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Devil's Juice said Max also said he was going to run in his riding. LOL. So yeah, we talked about that yesterday, and that's a little bit different because Max is a legitimate politician. I think we talked about that.
The NDP should, the Liberals should, Max should, the Greens should. Why wouldn't you? If you're getting a chance to elect somebody new to elect, why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's democracy, but like, those are all real people, right? To just put 90 names that, fucking just to fuck around. I don't know how that's allowed. It's obvious what they're doing. They're targeting Pilievre. They hit him in Carleton and they're following him around. It's nonsense.
And as much as I don't like Pierre Pilievre, for the first time listeners, I'm not a fan of Pierre Pilievre. I don't think he's a good leader. I don't think he has a backbone. At least he's not strong enough for my vote. The point and the matter is that if we are to be common sense, if we are to be non-hypocritical, we need to admit that there's a problem there. You don't need to like Pierre Pilievre to say that this is wrong. Because if it was happening to the liberal, if they would have done that to Carney, in the Nepean riding that he's never lived in. If
Yeah.
they would have done that to him, it would have been all over CBC. CTV News would have been drumming that shit until they were blue in the face. Yet CTV News is making fun of it like it's a fucking joke because it's okay for a liberal to do that to a conservative, but we all know that a conservative could never do that to a liberal. So bullshit. I don't know how this is allowed because they're not real people.
No,
It's not like people
it's
that
making a mockery of it.
you know, if people really wanted, if there was 200 people that really wanted to be elected, all the power. But the committee, the fucking group, the activist group, the Longest Ballot Committee is fully open about it being bullshit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't like it at all. I hate it.
no, yeah, I wouldn't say I hate it, but I agree that I definitely don't like it. This is bullshit. This is definitely bullshit.
Yeah, like you said, it's not, it's out in they're out in the open about it. I don't understand why Elections Canada doesn't just say no, you're not gonna do that shit here. And I guarantee they would if it was against Mark Carney.
100%. 100%. It would have been an outrage.
Oh yeah, outrageous. What do you think? You want to?
Oh no, we're 2:15. It's perfect time to plug. I think I think we're pretty good. Ryan, thank you.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go
Got
back
my
and
sub.
comment there. Appreciate that, Ryan.
Looking forward to hearing
good.
more from you two. Thanks for being on, brother. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Devil's Due, I wanted to say that I posted a Moose video I think you're looking for on your X post. Cool. I'll check it out, but I do believe that Misfit has posted it. I saw that you registered. I saw Devil is Due. I saw that you registered on the Discord server, and it's been posted in the it was in the trending topic, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Misfit posted it in the trending topic. So if that's what you're talking about, I got it. If not, remind me. But I suggest you go check it out and tell me if that's what you're talking about or not. I will watch the video after this. But yeah.
Oh, here's good a comment by Misfit. It's because we've talked about this before. The northern and southern half of BC. He says the northern half would want to go because a lot of our resources are LNG and oil, and I believe it's they're more conservative too, are they not? Northern BC.
Well, I made that comment on my X account, and there's somebody on somebody's X account, sorry.
Okay.
And somebody corrected me as in, hey, bro, don't lump us up in the south with the north because we are very conservative too. It is just a tiny little portion
of Vancouver, right?
It's like I will go bring it up because it's worth me showing it, and I kind of apologize to that person saying that wasn't the point. It's just it was a lot easier for me to just say the south versus the north. But if
to be honest, I could see all of BC doing it. I like just if the writing's on the wall and it looks like it's going to happen, and you've got Alberta, you've got Saskatchewan, I could see BC just saying, you know what, it just makes more sense.
I don't know, and this is where the website I'm going to show you will tell us, is there enough votes? Because look at this. Like, this is literally BC.
Yeah,
so there's just
that's pretty blue.
So there's just like there's this writing here. There's a tiny bit more, right? So it's really...
And frankly, I could see Alberta really wanting BC because then they get that ocean access, right?
You have to. You have to get access.
They might say, "Listen, you come with us, and we'll keep your equalization payments that you're making now, and maybe we'll double it. It'll still be a lot less than what they're paying Quebec today, and it gets them access to Asian markets for their energy. It would make a lot of sense. Of course, that puts Eastern Canada just completely fucked." But that's why we're kind of banging the drum now, trying to wake people up, because I think a lot of people east of Manitoba really have no idea how serious Alberta is about this.
So I'm gonna scroll out. So obviously this is BC. If you don't have a good geography sense, this is BC. It looks very blue, but there's so many people out there because look, if you look at the actual, there's so many seats in those tiny areas. This is what I don't like. The US has the same problem where cities are always outclassing rural areas because of sheer amount of people. But look, the popular vote actually went for the Liberal. Tell me that this fucking looks like a liberal province. Like, so I understand what that person was telling me yesterday. Oh, this is it not? Like, tell me that this looks like a liberal province right here. This is all blue except for the tiny portion here. But like you say from the results, right? It's 42.3 to 41.5. And they were literally head to head. 20 elected for the 20 riding went liberal, 19 went conservative, 3 NDP, and 1 green. The only place that the witch of Greenland actually has a place is really like,
well,
like at the bottom there.
The other thing too is like if it gets as far as Alberta and Saskatchewan really looking like they're going, it's not going to be just about politics anymore. Now it's going to be about what is best. And a lot of the liberals in Vancouver and BC, yeah, they're liberals, yeah, they're left leaning, but they're also, you know, probably boomers or middle-aged people who have good jobs, who've got investments, who are understand that, okay, yeah, like they want, they're going to want to hitch their wagon to the juggernaut, the economic juggernaut that would be an Alberta and Saskatchewan independent nation. So I could see, yeah, they'll still be liberal politically, but I could see them absolutely wanting to be part of that.
Heads up. So just so you guys know, although we're not going to be able to cover it right now, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but just to tell you guys that, man, Danielle Smith is reading my fucking mind. She's taking questions. She's taking questions.
Should we watch this for 10 minutes?
Well, I'm not going to go negotiations with the expectation that they're going to fail. I think that that's defeatist.
I'm just going live right now.
Yep.
Around there. So I will see how that ultimately plays out. And then perhaps 6 months from now, if it's unsuccessful, we'll be able to have another conversation about what comes next.
Thanks.
She's
Jay.
brilliant,
We're going to
man.
go to the phones for a couple questions. Operator, could you
The
put through our
phone,
first
she
caller,
fucking
please?
read my mind. Fuck.
Calgary Herald.
Premier, thanks for taking my question. David Cameron wasn't a separatist either when he enabled a Brexit referendum in Britain. What he did, fairly close to the beginning of that, was say that he would honor the result of the referendum, and of course was thoroughly shocked when it passed. So my question to you is, will you say today whether or not, if a referendum on separation should carry sometime next year, you will honor that and start, if the answer is yes to it, that you would honor it and start the process to separate Alberta from Canada?
I did say yesterday in my commentary that I will respect the wishes of Albertans. And so at the moment, they're a bit undefined about what it is Albertans want to do. There's been a number of different groups proposing different new relationships, different ways to express autonomy. So until I see an actual question with 177,000 signatures of Albertans that are supportive of it, it's difficult for me to know what that looks like. But I honor the process. I'm creating a process so that citizens do have a right to identify an issue and be able to bring it forward with the support of their fellow citizens so that it can be put to a referendum.
If the answer is fairly simple, the question is fairly simple. Do you want Alberta to separate from Canada? Would you be willing, if it was as simple and clear cut as that, and there was a good sized majority, would you be willing to proceed?
There's a lot of ifs in that. I think if an election were held today, it would get about 30% support. So that's why I want to make sure that those numbers do not get higher and those numbers end up going lower because we're successful in negotiating a new arrangement with Canada. That's my marching orders. I've heard pretty overwhelmingly from my caucus, from the people who have contacted my office, from the people I've consulted with, is that they want me to give it a try. We tried for 2.5 years with the prime minister that was in place when I got elected, and I'm going to try. I think that's the only thing that I can do, and hope that we have a different approach. And I think we've already seen evidence that we have a prime minister that's willing to change gears. He dropped the carbon tax minutes after he got elected because it was a policy that was driving up costs, creating a more
that I disagree with her.
For all Canadians, hated.
No, she's being pretty diplomatic.
By all political parties.
Yeah,
and so
he lowered. He didn't
drop
drop like he.
Well, we've got
it's
9
still
more to
there.
go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm
A lot of people aren't sure about that. Sasquatch,
Thanks, Don.
I believe they have
Operator,
more
could you
than they
put our
need.
next caller, please?
I believe
Someone
they've
in the back
got
of the room.
190 something thousand.
Rob Ferguson at the Toronto Star. Hi, Premier.
I'm just going to pause it for a second. Yes, they do, but the thing is that I don't think it counts right now. It's just
I think it's like it's got to be an official one. But I
Yes.
also think they'll have no trouble getting it.
Oh, I think it's going to be done over 24 hours. It's going to be done.
Wondering if you have any retort for Premier Doug Ford today after what he said in Toronto about the possible separatism referendum.
Well, Doug and I have a great friendship. We don't agree on everything. In fact, I think we supported different people in the last federal election. And so we don't have to agree on everything. But what I will say is we have a constructive conversation at the coffee table. I continue to look forward to having a constructive conversation with him at the coffee table. But he's the Premier of Ontario. I'm the Premier of Alberta. We just have different issues that we have to respond to in our respective jurisdictions.
Do you think he should stick in his own lane, or what do you say to as any kind of a retort?
Well, I don't tell him how he should run his province, and I would hope that he doesn't tell me how I should run mine. But we have a very respectful relationship, and I hope that continues.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob. We're going to come back to the room. We'll go to Graham, yourself.
Premier, just to get this clear, you're saying you would not sponsor or support a referendum on separation. You'd let Albertans deal with that. But you said there would be a referendum next year that you would be part of. Explain what that would be looking at.
Well, it depends what I hear from Albertans. There's a few things that I've heard. I've heard from our agriculture producers that they would like us to exercise Section 95 of the Constitution to take more control over managing agriculture issues, because the federal government has come through with punitive changes that are preventing them from being able to run their operations. I'm thinking of the limitations on strychnine, which is going to result in massive crop losses.
That's being a smart politician. You never have a vote unless you know the numbers.
To be able to have more economic immigrants. The federal government actually reduced our allotment of provincial nominees. That would be something, again, under Section 95 that has special status, and Quebec has been quite active in trying to advocate for more choice in the people who get permanent citizenship in their province. Those are a couple of things. I mean, it shouldn't surprise you. I've kind of raised those before, but there may be other things that do come up. I know that Quebec is interested in completely changing the relationship with Ottawa, being more like the way the European Union operates, by collecting all the taxes and then just remitting to Ottawa their share. That's what we do right now with our municipalities. The municipalities collect all of the property taxes and then remit to us our share. And so it's not that unusual to think that we might be able to have an arrangement like that if Quebec is interested too. So those are a few things that I've mused about before. I see that we have some common cause with our friends in Quebec of wanting to pursue some of those same
She's
things.
very clever how she's trying to involve Quebec. Like, maybe if she's political enough, they'll give her the pipeline that she wants. Very clever what she's doing right now.
She's not offending anyone. She's giving Carney, she's treating him respectfully, not like leaving everything on the table, but yeah, very smart, very smart. Moonglow, glad you came back. Appreciate that.
Former speechwriter for George Bush, W. Bush. You have people saying this is a bad idea, that going down the road of direct democracy that California has can tie up things, as opposed to representative democracy. You're elected and people can then pass judgment in 4 years or whatever, if they like it or not, as opposed to then constantly churning up people's feelings with constant
their
feelings.
feelings.
That debate in this province, and we've sided with referendums for a number of important issues. I mentioned this before: VLTs and prohibition. The Olympics vote in Calgary was put to a referendum. Fluoride was put to a referendum. Again, I won't prejudge what it is that citizens choose to get signatures on. It could be any
That's
number
a
of
real
things they
leader
choose to
right
get
there.
signatures on. But the point is, it allows for them to have a mechanism, because it may be that there are some things that are an irritant or something that needs to be addressed that the legislatures are not bringing forward, and that gives the people the power. I mean, yes, it's a philosophical argument. I know that there are some who think that all decisions should be made by representation, and then there are those of us who believe it's a combination. I don't think Albertans want to vote on every little thing, but I think they might want to vote on some big things. And so
can you imagine what a comment? Direct democracy is a threat to democracy.
Since this legislation was first brought in the prior UCP government, and now they have a little bit more clarity around the rules and what the signatures need to be.
Thank you. And go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Sarah with Global News. I'm just wondering, why did you make the decision to have your speech yesterday at 3:00, just a day before Carney's meeting?
Who the fuck cares?
I made the decision to have the speech a week after the election, a few days after I'd had a chance to meet with my caucus, a few days after I'd had a chance to meet and talk with Mark Carney. Those were the factors
She's so
that
clever.
I had under consideration about establishing that. And also because it was a very lengthy speech, as you probably saw. I didn't want to be reading my speech to you here today for 18 minutes. So I wanted to make sure that Eastern Canada knows all of our grievances. I don't think necessarily the reporting on Alberta's grievances are covered particularly well in Eastern Canada.
Not that we've been saying that for a couple of weeks now, right?
What was going
We
to
should
be
get
happening in
Danielle Smith on
Alberta
the
and our
show.
reaction, because Alberta was such an outlier.
Anytime, Daniel.
65% of our people voted for a different political party, and so I wanted to be thoughtful in how I gave my response. I think I was, and it was because of a lot of feedback.
You know, I'm just pausing this for a second because there's like 6,600 people looking at our show. We've had similar views to that on live coverage. So Daniel, just saying, we could top what you have right now. We'd probably generate more views than what you're having right now. So if you want to be on the show, we will happily have you. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
But the timing was, it was a week after the election.
Good for her.
Do you think your message yesterday highlighted divisions in this country and weakened Canada's position heading into negotiations today with the U.S.?
I think that Prime Minister Carney has his work cut out for him, as we saw in the opening press conference with the president. And I'm really hopeful that behind closed doors, they'll be able to have a meeting of the minds and come out with an agreement to restart.
She said, I'm hopeful behind closed doors, because she's saying, because what we saw was wasn't good. It wasn't good.
She's brilliant, bro.
For all of us.
She is brilliant.
A far greater benefit if we were able to get a renegotiation happening sooner. So I'll see. I'm just as hopeful as anyone else that they're able to have a reset on the relationship. I don't think it's any secret that the relationship with the prior prime minister was very poor, and I think led to a lot of the challenges that we've had over the last 5 or 6 months. So we'll see if Prime Minister Carney can reset that in the meeting he has today, and I'm hopeful that he can.
Thank you. With time for a few more questions, we'll go to Lisa, then we're going to hop back to the phones.
Thanks, Sam. You've said that you are committed to upholding First Nation treaties and inherent rights. This is on the sovereignty referendum question, but the Referendum Act says a majority vote is binding on your government, 50% plus one. So if that vote passes, your government would be bound to follow that referendum choice. How exactly do you plan to uphold those treaties in the event that your government's hands are tied and you need to separate Alberta from Canada? How do you uphold those treaties? What does that involve?
Well, I think there's been lots of court
guys, if you're watching, we're going to stick on another 15 minutes or however long, just to figure may as well just finish up here.
And we would honor all of those. We have treaties that have been signed and are binding. We have as well Section 35 of the Constitution, which enshrines Aboriginal rights. This any discussion that we're having is including Alberta's expressing its own constitutional sovereignty is about Alberta's relationship with Ottawa. We have also defined rights under our Constitution about Alberta's relationship with Ottawa and how that's supposed to work. And I have never presumed that anything that we can do is going to impact First Nations rights. In fact, I've said the opposite, that we accept it and respect the fact that they are sovereign jurisdictions.
She's running circles around them.
This is about trying to have Alberta's relationship with Ottawa improve.
And just to follow up to that, I mean, you've
no hesitation either. This was brilliant. She knew what was come up, right? She knew what questions would
come up. A large group of them representing just about every treaty, I think, in this country, saying this is a violation of their treaty.
It's not
wrong. It's two tribes. It's two tribes.
Generally, what you're
wrong,
saying
but it's not.
You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. You don't want to presume that this referendum is necessary.
I doubt that she'll cover it. It's called the Clarity Act. If you guys want to go check it out, the Supreme Court has already ruled on this. It was allowing Quebec to separate, and it's been established by multiple Albertan specialist lawyers, like constitutional lawyers, saying that the Clarity Act established by the Supreme Court gives plenty of space for Alberta to do it. So that reporter's full of shit. She doesn't know what she's doing, and she's trying to play the liberal
how
drum.
Smug and entitled she is. Just by the way she's asking the question.
So just in case she doesn't answer it the way I just did, there's no bullshit. Clarity Act allows for this. They clearly have the opportunity to do it. And as I think it was last week, or was it yesterday? No, last week we showed a video about how the treaty is not even with the province of Alberta, is with the federal government. So all those treaties that they're talking about, the First Nation treaties, technically don't apply to Alberta. But I guarantee you, that's my personal opinion, that if they were to separate, those First Nations would be better treated under
I
Alberta than under federal rule.
Yeah, I think so.
Necessarily happening or that it will pass. Did you not think about these things ahead of time? Did you not think about what would happen if you open the door and lower the bar for citizens
What
to
a
initiate referendum in this
fucking twat.
Well, again, I guess I have to wait and see what kind of question comes forward from citizens before I would be able to make a judgment about whether or not it would impact rights.
She's
But what
so
I have said
clever.
is that you
Yeah,
can't
she's
vote away
playing
trading rights.
dumb,
You can't
but
vote
very
away indigenous
smartly.
rights. You can't
She's saying, hey,
have
because she's
a
right.
referendum
There's been
on things that
no
are,
question has been
enshrined
put
in our various
forth from citizens
constitutional,
yet. How can she respond?
Conventions and laws and court decisions. So I'll
There
wait
you
and
go,
see
court
what sort of
decision.
referendum questions come
Clarity
forward,
Act.
But my expectation would be that that those rights would be honored.
Thanks, Lisa. We're going to go back to the phones for our last few questions. Operator, could you put through the next caller, please?
Thank you. Tamara Durrani from the Globe and Mail.
Thank you, Premier
exactly,
Smith, for
Misfit.
taking our questions today. My first
Bouncing
question is about
off
your
her like a
speech from
bulletproof
yesterday.
fucking
Premier,
vest.
you said that you don't personally support Alberta's separation from Canada, and you also said that you want
Separation.
several Liberal policies from over the last decade, particularly about energy, to be abolished by Ottawa. At the same time, you said you're going to allow discussions of potential separation to be brought up at these town halls that you'll be chairing with the new panel, all of which could lead to a referendum with the possible question of separation next year. Do you believe these actions from your government will impact the negotiations for a new fair deal you want your special Alberta negotiating team to have with Ottawa? And in turn, do you think these actions will affect Ottawa's negotiations with Washington, where President Donald Trump has said he wants to make Canada its 51st state?
Well, I would hope that the near-death experience of the Liberals, where they were almost obliterated and had to change out their leader, was actually a wake-up moment for them.
Yeah, I was
that they
thinking
can't
that exact
continue
scene.
pursuing extremist policies.
When you said that it was bouncing, I was like, no, they're not even reaching her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
stop, bitches.
No.
Policies that are supported by a fringe group of legislators like the NDP or the Bloc Québécois. And I would hope that that near-death experience made them realize that what Canadians want and Albertans want is to be an economic superpower that includes energy, includes food, includes getting all of our resources to market. I mean, if anyone should look at the results of the last few months and say, gee, it's time to recalibrate, it should be the current prime minister. So that's why I'm very hopeful, having talked to him and said that now is the time for us to make good on the commitments that were made prior to the election, that were joint
See you later,
communique
Jim. Check us out tomorrow.
and
Noon
to make
Eastern.
sure that we actually enact the things that were agreed to. I as I said in my speech yesterday, that Albertans expect action, not just words. And so that's why I'm very hopeful that somebody who ran on a mandate to start doing the kind of things we're talking about is going to be serious about removing the barriers to make it happen. So that's my starting point going into the discussions.
Thank you, Premier.
100%
My second question is a
CBSV.
bit tangential. It's related to the Alberta Health Services investigation. Premier Smith, in light of the Globe and Mail's reporting on Alberta's Justice Minister, Mickey Emery, being a longtime friend and relative through marriage of Sam Raich, whose business dealing with the health authority are tied to a lawsuit and multiple investigations, do you believe this is a conflict of interest for the province? I want to be clear here before you answer. I'm not asking necessarily about whether this is against Alberta's Conflict of Interest Act. I'm asking this question because I want to know whether you think this is an appropriate relationship for the sitting Justice Minister and Deputy House Leader of Alberta to have with Mr. Raich.
I'm not sure what you expect him to do. Should he divorce his wife so he doesn't have the relationship with the cousin anymore? Like, I think you're being unrealistic. We all have relationships. And the key for conflict of interest is that you cannot make decisions on anything that might benefit a private interest. He has made no decisions on anything that would impact the person you're questioning. So that's why the conflict of interest law matters, is because these do have very clear rules we're
Fuck,
supposed
she is
to follow.
good,
There
man.
are very clear things we're not supposed to do. And I can tell you that Minister Pilievre is in no conflict of interest.
Thank you. And we have time for 2 more questions. We're going to take one more from the phones, then we'll go to James. Operator, could you put through our next caller, please?
Thank you. Rahim Mohammed at Post Media.
Well, Premier, so as leader of the UCP, do you plan to put in place any sort of in-house policy relating to members of your cabinet and caucus publicly taking sides in a
She's
possible
answering a
referendum
text.
on Alberta independence?
Well,
Is it- I'm-
I can
This
tell
is actually
you
a good
what
question. I'm curious.
Our policy says, because this was part of the founding documents that brought together the Progressive Conservatives and the Wild Rose. And it says loyalty to a united Canada and a commitment for Alberta to be a leader in the Canadian Federation that constructively defends the best interest of the province and its constitutional sovereignty is one of the founding statements of our party. And so I would say that I and my caucus are supportive of that we are supportive of trying to find a way to exercise our constitutional sovereignty within a united Canada.
Sure, and one of your caucus members, Jason Stefanon, a MLA for Red Deer, reportedly told reporters yesterday in Edmonton that he would like to see a referendum. Have you had a chance to talk to Mr. Stefan? Does that come close to a line for you? Do you have any kind of a reaction to that statement?
Well, if you listen to what I said yesterday, I would say that there's 3 different groups in Alberta. And we don't want to demonize any one of them, that we want to have a constructive conversation. We all have different ideas about how we get respect from Ottawa and how we have a constructive relationship within a united Canada. And so I'm looking forward to having that discussion. And I'm not going to be demonizing anybody who may have a different view on me. All I can do is try to convince people my view is right, that it's worth fighting for, is worth giving it a try, is worth doing the negotiation, and it's worth trying to find some way for the federal government to compromise. So that's been my position, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to convince all Albertans that that's the right pathway.
Thanks, Rahim. We have time for one last question. We'll go to James at the back here.
Hi, Premier. James from the Western Standard. You mentioned in your statement that any referendum will have to respect treaty rights. We've spoken about that. What would the referendum question look like? I realize this is a long time, potentially a long time in the future, and would negotiations with First Nations have to come first before any referendum question is asked?
I don't know what the referendum question would look like, because yesterday I specifically said we would not be bringing forward as a government a question on the issue of independence. So it would be up to individuals to draft that question and go through a process with lawyers that they might consult, and then it would go and get validated through Elections Alberta, and then it would be put to the people. So I don't have any idea what the wording of that referendum question might be.
Okay, well, where do negotiations with First Nations communities fit into that process?
Again, there is no referendum question. There is no petition campaign. We haven't even put the structure in place for the Elections Act. So I don't have answers to those questions, because until we see an actual active question and an active petition campaign, it really is just hypothetical.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's our time for today.
Thanks,
Thank you everyone for your questions.
And brilliantly fucking handled by Premier Smith. Pow pow, guns fired. Gunshot fired, and I don't know how better she could have handled it. This was a fucking, again, if her speech from yesterday was a masterpiece, so was this. Like I love how I said that earlier. The only thing she could have done better is handled free speech and take live questions. Well, fuck you, Nico. She got you. She already was there. But I like how she explained it. You know, my speech yesterday was like 18 minutes. So having you guys wait here for 18 minutes would have been too long. But now we can go for 18, 20 minutes. They went for 42 minutes. So brilliantly fucking done. Brilliantly played. Hey, guys, question for you guys. Do you like that we brought that up? Do you guys want us to do more? Because we did it at the beginning of the show with Trump and Carney. We went through what we wanted to talk about, which was What the fuck did we
Danielle.
talk about?
Danielle
Danielle
Smith.
Smith, our speech
Yesterday.
yesterday, and what
Yep.
happened to Pierre Pilievre, or what's going to happen to Pierre Pilievre. And now we were able to do a good 20 minutes offer taking questions from the press. So if you guys like this, I fucking love this shit. Like, this is, I would have listened to it no matter what. So being able to do it with you guys even better. But
Yeah, that
let
was
us
cool.
know what you guys think, and if you're not seeing this live, if you're watching the rerun, let us know in the comments below if you guys want to continue.
And
If you
jump
want
over
us
to the
to continue
Discord
doing
server
this.
too.
Well, of course, but you need
Yeah.
to explain that there's a membership, and I'll let
We're,
you
yeah,
close out the
gonna,
show, bro.
I'm gonna end with that. I'll just take a couple of these questions here. Cyril says, had to jump back on and see if you guys were watching. Danielle give them no way to pin
Yes,
her
we
down,
were.
and they hate it. Yeah, and you could tell they were
Brilliant.
just trying. They were trying so hard, and they were just the way they were even asking the questions. You could see exactly what we mean when we say the reason why we're going to cover the show is because you know that mainstream media is not going to cover this fairly.
Yeah.
CBSB, why do they keep hitting her with the First Nations questions? She's answered the same issue over and over. It's because left-wing liberals are obsessed with identity politics, and they think that the First Nations issue is how they're going to pin her down and beat her. They think that all everybody cares about is people's ethnicity, their race, and because they're stuck in a left-wing echo chamber. And they genuinely think that because one or two chiefs said you can't do it, that all 5 million Albertans should sit down and give a land acknowledgement and say, yes, you're right. We apologize. They genuinely think that.
4.2 if you want to be exact, but right.
Yeah, 5.2. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate
4.
that.
You're welcome. Anytime I get to correct you, I will do so.
Anytime you can correct me, you can.
I will happily do so, Robbie.
Yes, of course. Nice. Wise guy says, good show today, guys. I appreciate that. It was a good show, but honestly, mostly the vast majority of that's because of you guys, because you bring in quality comments again and again and again. And with that, guys, we went a little bit late, but I think you guys understand why, and I think you guys appreciated that. Again, as we've mentioned a few times, we have started a membership. That is because we are starting to get a lot more viewers here, and we want to be able to prioritize our comments for people who really want that. It's also a way to support the show and make sure that we keep, are able to keep doing this, and ideally we'd be able to do it, more. Hire someone to help with some other stuff to just free us up to just focus on the content. And also, if you do support us with a membership, you're going to have access to the Discord server where we're going to continue all these conversations, all day long, all night long. So basically, it's going to be the same vibe as the show, just over there. You're going to be able to, if there's topics that you want us to cover, you can mention it in there. If there's people you want us to interview, because we do have guests on the show sometimes, then you can mention it there, and we'll try to get them. But yeah, if you appreciate what we're doing here and you think that and you want us to show support, that's the best way you can do it is by, I believe there's a join now button if you're on YouTube, and that it'll show you the levels there. And it starts at $2.99, so it's not any major investment of time. It's just a way to support us and help build the community here. Guys, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. You could have been anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be here with us, and we're always going to appreciate that. There's a reason me and Nico do the show live, and it is entirely because of the energy and the quality of the discourse that you guys bring. Without the you guys bringing, your comments, your questions, this is just two fucking bald yahoos shooting the shit in their living rooms, right? And nobody wants to see that. So again, it was a great show, and for that, we have you to thank. One of the things when we started the show was we didn't want to create just another show. We wanted to create a community, and it's really, we can't say how much enough we appreciate seeing the quality of the community that we're building. It's exactly what we had envisioned.
Tony G, I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but Tony G, it's the money, it's the bill. So it's not a join me, but if you want to support, there is, I believe it is, membership. Yeah. So if you click on the money, on the dollar bill at the bottom of the chat, and then you go membership, it will give you access to all our memberships that we have, and show your support. At $2.99 is the one that Robbie's talking about.
Yes. Yeah, and that'll get you access to the Discord server as well. And then you can just jump over the community there. Appreciate that, Tony. Other than that, guys, it was a great show. We're definitely going to talk about this tomorrow and whatever else pops up. If you have any suggestions, we go as late as 11 noon Eastern. If something comes up, we can throw it on.
11:30, 11:45.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm finishing up the show as I'm talking.
5 minutes before
11:55.
11:55. Oh shit, we gotta go live.
Oops.
But again, guys, thank you for being here, and we will check you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace
Have a
out.
great night, guys.